Hello, man. Hello, MGTOW. Today we're going to talk about a subject of. Let me see if I'm actually live. Hello, man. Hello, MGTOW. I guess I am. It's buffering a little bit, but that's okay. Today we're going to talk about the subject creepy. I'm waiting for Joey Aragon to come in, and that'll be he'll be coming in shortly. But I just figured I'll start it up and then do my whatever I do, my spiel about creepy and what I think about it. I think if we examine creepiness and its bias, you'll find that men have to deal with an overwhelming amount of gender bias from women, and like everything, that they're not held very culpable for this thing that they do. We can look at the stats and the statistics on creepy, and when creepy was when they did research on creepy, it usually came out to be an endomorphic body type, or something people believe is subjective. But when it comes down to it, male and female, the overwhelming majority participates in that test or trial. 95% of them said that men were mostly creepy. 95%. During the 20th century, we see that creepiness is associated with involuntary celibacy. Creepiness, those creepy little men. I often thought creepy was subjective, and it's a person's point of view. Some people think creepy is the slender man type, the endomorphic. Some people would think the mesomorphic body type is creepy, or the ectomorphic body type is creepy, the slender man. I think I can endomorphic, ectomorphic, and mesomorphic. Yeah, the three types of body types. But I just believe it's subjective to about anybody, and whatever you think is creepy. Let me just do a little. Let me put where is that at? Banner? No, not banner. Brand. What if you seen that? Would you think that was creepy? Or how about that? Would you say that was creepy? That's Stormy Daniels without makeup on. That's Juliette Lewis. Would you say that was creepy? Would you say that this is creepy? Or maybe, maybe you think I'm creepy. Let me get back. Oh, then powered by. So I think it's subjective to everybody, but one thing's for certain, and two's for sure, that let me get back to there. I hope that's showing up. I don't really know what shows up when I see this. Let me check it and see it is kind of stuck. But what do you think's creepy? And do you think men take a that's okay. Let me go to live and see what's up. Oh yeah, it's stuck on. It's stuck on one thing. Maybe that'll fix itself. Maybe it won't. I don't really care. But when you see creepy, what do you think is creepy? Do you ever hear a girl being called creepy? No, I never really do. I've seen female body types, and I've seen females that I thought was creepy, but I never said it out loud. Are men that insensitive to women? Are women more insensitive to men? And are men very insensitive on behalf of the female, sort of like that, what we call white knighting, and by proxy casual cruelty? If there's by proxy violence against males on behalf of the female by other males, do we have by proxy casual cruelty? I think we do. Some men would say, that dude's creepy, just to garnish the attention of a female and try to put himself on a higher status. I mean, you don't get more higher status than this, but yeah, men try to one up each other. They agree with the females when they give these analogies of creepiness. And how do we deal with this? What do we do with this thing? And there's a lot of different opinions about creepy. Some people would say disabled people, like they do with incels. approximately 12% of the people in the United States have disabilities. I mean, I think 54% of those, at the very least, would be incels. When incels are disenfranchised males with disabilities that have little to no chance of reproducing. Poverty, would you call somebody? I think somebody of higher status and higher wealth would look at impoverished people and, ooh, they're creepy. They would ostracize them. They would shun them. They would spur them, give them the cold shoulder. They would repudiate them for their creepiness. You would get on, like I say all the time, you would get on a blacklist. You're not on the registry. You don't belong to our class. Women do this all the time. Creepiness is one of those things they get away with. There's creepy, and then there's creepiness. You can see something creepy like Slender Man and say, ooh, that's creepy. But you can, does creepy, Slender Man portrays a creepiness. And that would be the ectomorphic body type, tall, slim. Creepy is sometimes misunderstood, and I think it's overused when it comes to men. It gives women the ability to be casually cruel at will. And she can just walk into a room, a restaurant, or a party, or a dining area, or a lodge, or everything, and pick out who she thinks is creepy. And that's subjective to her opinion. And I've noticed in my lifetime that some women, someone and I used to know a girl. What was her name? I can't remember her name. She was a rather stout blonde girl that used to come around, and there was my friend was he was a rather handsome Italian fellow. He used to wear the vest because he had the great chest hair and everything, and he was younger, and he used to run through the girls, but she thought that he was creepy, and I just never understood. I said, "You think he's creepy?" And it was personal opinion. It was subjective to her. And it was very strange because when I looked at them two, I was like, well, they would get along, but they didn't get along. And the first thing that came out of her mouth when she wanted to insult him was a beginning statement of creepy, trying to garnish the attention of trying to get me to agree with her. And I was like, well, no, I don't think he's creepy. He's my friend. But employing by proxy violence in that way, or by proxy casual cruelty in that way, is what they do. It starts with a little thing, just those little things, and then they go to eliminating all the disabled men, the incels, eliminating all the men that are TFL, true forced loneliness, that maybe they think is under their status. And then it can all start with that one little small statement. Ooh, he's so creepy. What do you guys think about that? There's such thing as real. There's Joey. Joey's in now. Creepy as anything a woman doesn't see as a top prospector. There's JK. JK's in today. Forrest Burns is creepy and a creepy old man. Yeah, that's a good one. There's creepy old men. These old men that this is far from creepy. This is so beautiful. It's just, it's like, but a lot of people, it's very subjective when you talk about it. Men do this, and what we perceive as creepy. What men perceive as creepy is usually more scary. It's usually more pronounced than what women see. Women see most men as creepy, and I can see that you would probably run into somebody like Harvey Weinstein or what's the billionaire that just hung himself, and you would say, well, that dude's probably a little bit creepy. You would sense something. Jared from Subway. Am I the only one in the whole world that when I looked at Jared from Subway, all bells and whistles went off? There's an intuition with this too. All my bells and whistles went off when I looked at that, and I said, that guy's kind of creepy. he's got that look of a pedophile. And well, lo and behold, I said that about Michael Jackson too. Lo and behold, he looks like a pedophile. And Matt Gaetz, you can look at Matt Gaetz and go, oh yeah, that guy's creepy. But besides the obvious intuition that we all, is it just intuition? Like I always say, and calling someone creepy would be like calling someone a misogynist. It's intuition. You're feeling some kind of misogyny coming off of them. Creepiness is the same way. He's oozing in misogyny. He's oozing in creepiness. But what you're really saying about yourself when you say that is you're having an intuitional feeling. And an intuitional feeling is always your opinion. It's subjective to your beliefs in life. And if you're calling another gender misogyny, like you're calling another gender and you're having a bad opinion about another gender, you're really pretty much saying that you're a misandrist. So calling someone misogynistic without any proof of creepiness would be misandrist. And I often see that in the press. They'll come out and use misogyny as a weapon. He was such a misogynist. They say the news, the liberal news would do this and say, "Oh, he's a misogynist." I say, "Don't you know, without proof, that just makes you a misandrist because you're having an opinion about a gender." And they don't understand that stuff. But it all starts, I think, with the creepiness gene. Creepy is something that we should all look at, and you can do the studies, and you can do the creepy starts with there's evolutionary explanations for creepy as a response to danger. If you feel a mechanism, there's mechanisms in you. It's agent detection, they say. Agent detection goes a long way. If you hear a noise in a dark alley, you would, ooh, 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 you get creeped out, but that's not creepiness. You're not calling another human. If you've seen this tall, slender man in the woods, I think that's what you're seeing is you're perceiving an evil in the woods, and that's creepy. Creepy pasta, as a matter of fact. But the ectomorphic body type is the most powerful body type. It's tall, slim, strong. It's perceived as dangerous, and a lot of women would perceive that as creepy, dangerous. And I think evolutionarily wise, I think that you should be set off by things that you perceive as dangerous. Humans have physical feelings of coldness too, and this creepiness thing. They get creeped out by someone if it's cold, or they seem insincere, or they seem obtuse or distant. There's unintentionally, there's behaviors of that when you perceive someone as being distant. The 2 mile stare, and like I often do when I read a paper, I stare out into the middle distance of my backyard and just try to lose myself. But there's religious things that go along with a lot of religion was based on what we thought as creepy. You would have and that comes up in the agent detection, and agent detection is very. Let me get the thing that's the Ubermensch, Freudian concept of creepy is the Superman. That would be creepy, and these are mostly male traits. When we look at male traits, I'm still looking for Joey to come on in. So a lot of times during these things, you just have the feeling of lurking abnormalities. It's the behavior is kind of sketchy or something when we talk about creepy. These are all objective things. They're not subjective. When women use the idea of creepy, they use it as a subjective thing. It's more like belief in a belief in evil or something like that. When we do the uncanny valley, that's when I wanted to talk about the uncanny valley. We perceive humans. Dolls don't quite, when I talked about the uncanny valley, the dolls, the sex dolls, we can perceive the difference between a dead object and a live object. I've seen dead people in my life, and as a soldier, and there's always a difference. You walk up to a casket, and Uncle Shane is in the casket, and you just know that there's that feeling, the uncanny valley, that it's creepy, and we do these creepy rituals, these creepy Christian rituals where we say goodbye and send them off to heaven. And it is a creepy, creepy ritual, and I'm trying, still looking for the. I should just type it in instead of trying to find the agency. It's agent. It has a lot to do with why we perceive God as we do, and we when you walk into something, you get that creepy feeling, and there's a feeling that that something's going to help you out through this, some mysterious, magical entity is going to come help you out through this situation when you're walking down a dark alley and you feel that creep in you. But that has nothing to do with what females do. They do it to men all the time. Men are creepy, and maybe it has a lot to do with what females do, and that's what we're trying to get at during this thing. There's what is the thing that sets women off about men, and 95% of us agree with them. That would be about the same. Oh, it was agent detection. Agent detection is the inclination of animals, including humans, to presume a purposeful intervention of a sentient or intelligent agent in a situation that may not involve you. They get creeped out, and all of a sudden. We've seen this with, we've probably seen this with religion a lot in the 17th century, where they couldn't explain something. So they were witches, or they were demons, or he's a warlock, and he's creepy. So we have to do something about it. And in God's name, we do this. So, let me go and see what Joey's. If Joey's not around, okay. Joey said he was going to come in today. Joey was taking a little break, and he had to travel across country again for a job, and it became overwhelming for him. So he took a little break, and we took a little break for the last 2 weeks. So let me see if I can get my banner to come back. No, I can't. That is really weird that I can't do that. I put Juliette Lewis' face up there, and and now it's stuck on. It's stuck on. Let me see. And, no, it's still stuck on that. Okay, they'll probably give me some explanation for that in the future. But what is creepy? What do you guys feel creepy is? And do you feel that, like I feel like that is, that it's a bias within that's generally targeted at men? In the Ice Age, creepy stalkers would be credited. Let me see, Joe. Oops, Joey X'd that one out. Okay, Joey. In the Ice Age, creepy stalkers would be a credit to the team. Yeah, if you're good at that, if you're creeping, I think that's a different ending there. If you were able to creep around silently, and I think that's why I got my job in the Army, because I was able to creep through the woods silently. It was a skill that I had, camouflage, and being able to be undetected as an agent. I was able to be do you creep? Yes. Hey, John, chicken. I can creep. I can creep. Oh, I do this thing that's creepy when I want to get people And my friend notices it, and he says, "Joe, don't do that no more. That is really scary and it's creepy." When I'm in a store and somebody starts talking to me, I'll just go, "Hi." Hi. And he says, "Don't do that to people. It's really creepy." And I says, "Yeah, that's why I use creepiness sometimes as hi as a defense mechanism, so I don't have to talk to really weird people or people that are over interested in who you are and stuff like that." But yeah, don't compare being creepy to stalking. Rick says, "Yeah, it's a stalk. Stalkers can be creepy, but stalking is a different thing when you're stalking a prey or you're stalking an enemy." Uh, Creepy is flexible as toxic. Yeah, I think creepy is flexible as toxic person. When men get called toxic too, so we can see the intersectionality of the two ideas philosophically. I don't think they do much on creepy, and I had a really hard time finding out the philosophical roots of creepy. But when I looked at Arthur Schopenhauer, I was like, now that dude's creepy. You ever see a picture of Arthur Schopenhauer? Go look. And you'll see, you might see the poster child of creepy. Hello, Forrest. How are you today? Uh, what does being creepy mean? Yeah, it's subjective to, I guess the idea of creepy in itself. I can go back. Let me just go get that. The idea of creepy is creepiness is a state of being creepy. It's caused by an unpleasant feeling or fear of unease, fear or unease. The person who exhibits creepy behavior is called a creep. He has creepiness in him. You have to listen to these things. Certain traits and hobbies may make people seem creepy. The definition of creepy is causing so I guess it's a sort of garant with a Y on it. It's a adjective, but it's a verb. You're causing that's really weird. I have to call Webster's dictionary on this. Creepy is causing an unpleasant feeling or fear of unease. So it should be a verb. If you're causing something to happen, it's a verb, not a adjective. but uh, but yeah, there's a lot of things, and I do think it's really subjective. But when used by the females, and we hear this all the time, all my life, I've been hearing this. You need a third bathroom. You might. If you need a third bathroom, you might be creepy. Yeah, yeah. I used to have a friend that had a bathroom inside of his bathroom. He was pretty rich, and he had the main bathroom, which had a little bathroom inside the main bathroom. And I thought, well, that is so cool. You got a bathroom inside your bathroom. But when we talk about creepiness in men, it gets a little biased, doesn't it? Always ultra creepy stalkers. Yeah, uh, you can. That's why DD says, I don't know, but he says it's kind of funny. You can. But yeah, when we talk about the female view, and it's 95% the female view is the dominant view in this, and like Forrest said, who is it that said is what does being creepy mean? You can be creepy. Okay, yeah, yeah. It would be like toxic. And women are allowed to use these things. He's a toxic male. Well, why is he toxic? Because he's creepy to you? And isn't that saying that? Well, imagine this. Imagine if you seen a disabled female that was had an arched back and a gimp leg, and she was walking, and she couldn't bathe or cut her hair and everything, and you went, "Ho ho ho! Look at that creepy woman." Wouldn't that be being insensitive? Men notice these things. Men are highly in tune with their emotional intelligence and knowing when not to say something. I rarely in my lifetime ever see a male that would pick on a disabled person. But in the 20th century, like I recently talked, I'll digress to the original. Uh, uh, Most of the time, creepy is the incel male nowadays. The incel male, the disenfranchised male, the disabled male is now. You're allowed to be casually cruel to them if you take the female perspective. And I've often thought this: that would you say that to a disabled female? Would you say that to a downtrodden female that was hard on her luck and things weren't going? She was maybe like an incel. She was ugly, like she was a femcel, a feminist. Let me add Joey to this. Let me get the different. There we go. Hey
Yeah.
Joey, how you doing? We were talking about creepy, like you suggested yesterday, and I find it a fascinating subject. And my background is not working right today. Nothing's working right in this. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Everybody, let me know how Joey's sound is coming through to you, and yeah, I find it a fascinating subject when put in the spectrum of gender dynamics and how women just men are creepy, and they just say that, and you've heard this probably thousands of times in your life, and sometimes it really didn't make sense, did it?
Yeah. Just simple things like when you're driving. Like, I sometimes I have like a rental car, like a high-end fifty
Yeah,
thousand dollar car, and you get different looks when you're coming in and out of that car compared to say, a used beat up car. They like, you know what I mean? I don't
yeah,
think.
I guess that would be a social economic creepy, where if you're in a certain neighborhood like Arkansas, you know you're in
Yeah.
Arkansas, and Arkansas for some people, Arkansas for others. uh,
Yeah.
how does that go? If you're in Arkansas, you say Arkansas. If you live outside of Arkansas, you say Arkansas.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in a poor neighborhood and someone gets out, everybody would perceive him as ooh, he's in one of those big vehicles, those expensive, creepy vehicles. He's probably one of those billionaire pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so social bigotry or social economic bigotry plays a lot into it too. Yeah, so social economic social. Your is your
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
okay? Your
I thought I
browser.
see the. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I could read the comment.
Yeah, yeah. So men get this
Um,
95% of the time.
you
That's the
find.
thing I'm concerned about.
Oh, I see it a lot. I mean, it's just regular observations. How you're
Yeah,
dressed, and you know, I mean, that's they're like assessing your resource value, I guess. And if you don't, if you're not at a certain level, you're creepy. If
right.
you're if you are, if you are at a certain level, then they're like, oh, this guy's got potential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Poor people are assumed that poverty is assumed to have a certain amount of creepiness attached to it. Like, oh, he's just not formed well, or something. And there's different reasons for poverty. There's like I talked about with disenfranchised incels, disabled males. They probably get it the worst. A disabled male or a disenfranchised incel has no opportunity to move up a corporate spectrum, does he? And why would that be? Well, he's considered creepy. We see this in shows like The Office, where the creepy guy, the incel, has no ability to move up the corporate spectrum.
Hmm.
So that was an argument I used to have with a friend of mine, and he does very well in sales in a lot of positions. He had a lot of really great jobs that you would consider vice president and stuff. He's the guy with the bathroom inside the bathroom, and I says, I says, well, normal to ugly guys or incel guys don't get called on to be to fill positions in sales. And he says, no, that's not true. And I said, yes, it is. Come on, be truthful and honest. Creepy guys would never fill a position in sales, would they?
No, I mean, if you go into an interview, you have to present, project
Right.
yourself a certain way. It doesn't, yeah, so it really doesn't. A lot of times, it's the person that's dressed better. They might not have any clue how to sell anything. They just, the idea is, oh, this person must be a good sales rep. They dress nice,
Right.
but it really doesn't have anything to do with sales. I mean, it is good to.
Right. Your ability to sell something has very little to do with, but you can be overly dressed or underly dressed. Like a guy comes in with a suede purple with a blue tie and a black shirt, and he's like, hey, like who is that? The salesman we used to have around here.
Chris Cantu. I don't know.
He does the Chris Cantu, and he's like, hey, I'm here to sell. And your creepy meter goes off.
Yeah, the red pill on steroids.
The red pill on steroids. So that's another example, but it could be underdressed too. You walk in with bunny slippers and your hair undone, and you're like, I just woke up, man. I'm a really great salesman. And you got a bathrobe on, like the other bathrobes by Ryan.
Is he starting a new line, Robes by Ryan?
Robes by Ryan, yes.
Yeah.
That's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, the corporate world's very strange. It's the last place you really want to be if you have talent is in the corporate world because they're just a lot of it's just appearances. It has nothing, it's not based on merit. I mean, I used to run into a lot of that stuff because being single, when they find out you're single and well, where's your wife or whatever, right? It's you get a lot of that too, but
I did the smile for the creepy smile for Forrest.
Yeah, smile head for too long gets really creepy, right? Yeah.
I do that in the store all the time.
Oh, the creepy smile, yeah.
If somebody's like irritating me, they're talking too much and lying, or they're asking personal questions, or they're just acting an ass, or if there's a couple back at me, I'll just go, hi.
Yeah. But women definitely
women, they use that, don't they? It's more of a manipulation of creepy, a manufacture. They're cunning with it, aren't they?
Oh yeah, oh for sure. That's why all these simps are always, and they'll do anything they can to drive a nice, newer car or whatever. It's because it's stuff like that. You kind of they're doing it for a reason to
sort of cloak any appearance of creepiness. You get a new car, you would shave too, and you're cloaking. I don't really worry about them things as a MGTOW. I don't worry about what people think. I'd rather have the philosopher look. I like it, and I like my beard because it's a secondary sexual characteristic of a man, and I have a huge one.
Yeah. I remember as a girl, woman I used to work with in my industry, and I think she was a taller woman, so she, so I'm not, I'm like 6'1", 6'2", whatever, and she's probably like 6'1", 6'2". She's looking for, I could tell she's kind of hitting on me. And I remember she asked me once, "Where do you live?"
Where do you live?
And it's like. So if I lived in I lived in a decent area, so I think she was more, interested. Like if I were to tell her, "Oh, I live in an area that's not as good," like she would just probably assume that I was creepy, So I just thought that was a really weird question to ask, but now I understand why she asked that, right?
Is my neighborhood creepy?
Yeah, I mean. It's just where do you live?
Yeah. So sort of some of the they could do this automatic assertion of creepy in hypergamy, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And it gives them an out right away. It's like, oh, creepy, 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 creepy. Like I say, where they can walk into a restaurant and just kind of size people up and say it, and nobody questions that's casually cruel and it's mean, and no one holds them culpable for bad behavior.
yeah. Yeah, they just get away with everything, and that's why we just got to stay away from them. I mean, I just got in a situation where I had a business deal with some women, and like a family thing. I finally, it looks like it's going to be over with. But then there was one last thing when the lawyer wanted like $1,000 for the closing, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying that. I said, you know what? They wanted to sell it.
Yeah.
I said, let them pay it. I said, forget it. Like, you think I'm just going to go along with it? Because let's just burn them another $300-400. No, I'm not doing it. I told them no. I said, forget it. I said, no, let them cover it. They want to pay it, let them cover it.
Right.
Or they want to sell it.
Yeah, closing costs is usually the decision of the seller or the buyer. You can throw the closing cost on the buyer, and usually the buyer gets a closing cost, not the seller eats the closing cost.
Yeah, I got to eat another cost, and I don't even want to sell it. He's like, oh, the judge is going to probably just, listen, I like my attorney, and it's not his fault that he's giving me this bad news, but it's like, you know what? You asked the question. I'm not going to say yes. I said, forget it. And like, but like to these women, it's like I'm the creepy one because I'm not going along. I'm the one making everything hard.
You're not following the female, the female, what would you call that, queuing order with reckless abandon. So you're creepy.
Yeah. I'm the creepy one because I'm not going along with everything that they want.
Well, in their eyes, some simps, just go along with it. They do all the simp stuff and everything, and they're considered normal because they're simping, which us MGTOWs consider that would subjectively consider that creepiness.
Yeah.
There's a lot to this. It's like toxic. It's like the toxic male is probably another form of the creepy male, and then I guess that's why we want to talk about these things, because these are social norms that are being put in place right now through probably the late 2000 to now 2021, where these things are becoming more and more pronounced in our society. And we get to a point where you go out and you notice them and you go, that's not quite right. And it's not quite good behavior. It's, you're not being people consider being casually cruel like that a norm in life now. And we're pushing the boundaries of norm with toxic masculinity. We're pushing the boundaries of norm with creepiness, and we see it all over the place with the slender man is creepy, and the women. I watched that movie. It was the most horrible movie I've ever seen in my life, and the whole movie was about the fear that's in, and we can go back to the agent. You detect agency, and you detect scary, and it is what these women were just scared and fearful, and it develops from scared and fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are we so scared and fearful? Then that's xenophobia too. Scared, and it all goes together. Xenophobia and creepiness, toxic male, and when you're allowed to do these things and norms get silently pushed while no one fights back, I think that's creepy.
Yeah, it's just like a hostile society towards MGTOW.
Yeah,
we have to assume that, right? That they're going to look at us like there's something wrong with us. We're the normal ones.
Yeah, we're the normal ones. We're the ones willing to talk about this and talk through these things and identify these things. but they'll go, oh no, you guys are what do we get called? What's the word for that? We get called hostile and dangerous and over. I can't remember the exact word I'm thinking about. Um, but yeah, we call those in because we're willing to breach difficult subjects like this. So they use the very thing that we talk about as being abhorrent, as being not right, and they'll never take responsibility for. Like I say, they're not culpable for their bad behavior. They would use that very thing that we say, which is man, I don't know what you call that in rhetorics, but but they do it. They use the very thing you say they are. It's like a child, and when we say they are like child is like a 12 you are, you know. And I've noticed that your rubber and I'm glue. Everything you say bounces off of me and lands on you. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a projection most of the time of their incompetency to understand their bad behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just I don't know. There's something else, man. Like just the whole way like integrity and honor is not.
Yeah,
They don't have it. So
they don't have honor, so I say that all
yeah,
the time, and then they're going to want to take me down for that. Women don't have honor; they have conscious bias concern, but it plays right into it when you think about what I say about that. Uh, they're concerned with what they can get from the social engagements, and then they're looking for the higher value in things. Yeah, it becomes a tool that they use to knock down or what's that called when they small they what is that word? They prune their herd.
yeah.
Yeah. So they use that as a tool. And like I say, women are cunning, and so
Mm-hmm.
they figure these things out. If you ever when you're talking about some of these guys, when they're talking about no, they're cunning and they're masterful at that.
Yeah, Schopenhauer said it. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people smarter than Schopenhauer.
Yeah.
You
When I,
know what I mean? So,
when I did look up creepy and philosophical terms, because there's very little philosophical terms for it, and I think I'm probably one of the few people that are willing to breach creepy philosophically. They showed a picture of Schopenhauer.
yeah, yeah. That's a guy. Like you have a guy, a thinker like that. He's saying that and he's saying this stuff before all those laws were in place, right? So now it's like they take their nature of being cunning, and now they combine it with all those perks they get for laws backing them up. Well, there you go. Then now that's why you have a disaster. Whenever you're getting involved with them, what in business
Right.
dealings or that's why I just took a new position, and there's no women involved in my new business venture. It's like perfect. I'm going to have some customers that are going to be women, but that's okay. I can deal with that because they're customers. But at least like within the company, I don't have to deal with any women, so it's great.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that kind of cunning thing
Yeah,
happening all the time where they're trying to manipulate the situations in their favor.
right.
That's a good thing. The football player, Troy, did you see?
TJ Clemmings, who's that? I never heard of him.
Yeah, TJ Clemmings.
Yes, Troy.
I don't know who TJ Clemmings is. Huh.
Kicked out of his home by his wife. Yeah, I don't know. I never heard of. I don't know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Probably that'll be a good one. I don't know who Troy is. Troy's a new guy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking about the sports stars today, and all. Justin. Not Justin Bieber. I always say it's Justin Bieber, but Bieber from the Indians got engaged today. That was all
Oh
over.
yeah.
Yeah, to his longtime girlfriend. They said for the win. It was like, and I was like, no, no, no. Remember Finley, the pitcher Finley? He
Yeah,
married
Chuck Finley. He used to be married to Tawny Katane.
Tawny Katane.
What a hooker she was.
Yeah, she beat him.
She used to like beat the shit. Yeah, she was on Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks way back in the day.
Yeah, Tawny Katane, Chuck Finley. She abused him, and then she filed a divorce like 2 days later. After this 2-year rocky relationship, and all I can think of is Bieber. God, you don't want to end up with a Tawny Katane.
No. I remember her. Yeah, because I remember like she was like the smoking hot, hooker or whatever she was.
The smoking hot hooker, and what'd you play in Bachelor Party?
She was in Bachelor Party, and
okay,
I don't know. She was in I forget what other movie, but that was yeah. You look at her, you would think, oh, she's like a unicorn, or as Harper would say, look at her, she's a unicorn. I'm going to take my chances.
Unicorn.
Sorry, I hate making fun of Harper, and I really do. I just hope it worked out for him. I'm still waiting for the high guys from him.
So. Yeah, I don't know why my
Tawny Katane. What other movie was she in? Tawny. Yeah, Katane. Yeah, but now she looks terrible. I mean, when she was younger, like she looks like Juliette Lewis now. But when she was younger.
Yeah, I was looking to put that picture up there again of Juliette Lewis, and I can't. They won't let me do it.
Oh, they won't. Yeah. When Tawny Katane was younger, she looked really good, and now she looks like Juliette Lewis's cousin. She passed away. I didn't know she passed away. Did she pass away, Tawny Katane? Oh yeah, she died. She just recently died, Joe. Wow, that's creepy. She died in May of this year.
Oh, Connie. Maybe that's why I heard the story. It was like,
yeah, okay. She died in Newport Beach, 59 years old. Wow, she was young.
Wow, yeah.
She died. She dated a Rat guitarist, and then she was banging O.J. Simpson for a while. I'm reading her Wikipedia page. She was married to Chuck Finley for 5 years. She has 2 daughters. Charged with domestic violence for an incident involving Finley. And 3 days later, Finley filed for divorce. In a plea bargain, Katane agreed to enter a spousal battery counseling program and avoid contact with Finley. Oh, okay, this is a good one. So in November 2000, I'm reading through Wiki. In November 2006, prosecutors charged Katane with possessing 15 grams of coke in her San Juan Capistrano home in Orange County.
Oh, God, she was.
She was a piece of shit, huh? Her authorities said her 2 daughters were home at the time and that Katane had granted deputies permission for the search. She went to rehab, blah, 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 driving. And then she was driving under the influence.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like.
Arrested for DUI. Yeah, and then she died. Okay. She was working on her memoir. What, being a hooker? What was her memoir about? How to be a good hooker? Her death was confirmed to the New York Times. The cause of death was not known. Nothing to do at the scene. Issued alcohol or drugs is a factor. Of course, that's a factor.
Yeah, of course it's a factor. Yeah.
Long-term factor. Maybe not short. Maybe it wasn't a short-term thing. But if you're gonna work, hey, listen, I stopped drinking about 15 years ago, and I've never done drugs.
She got white powder coming out of her nose, and it's like it might be like a concern.
Yeah,
death, and they do that with women too. It's like why don't they just say if it was a dude, they would say, well, he died of a heart attack from cocaine.
Yeah.
With a woman, and that status of a woman, and her status is just based on her good looks. It was never based on her personality, or
right,
she was culpable for her personality. She would be what most people would after observing her behavior for a while, and men do that thing. We observe behaviors and we're rational about that. We would consider her creepy.
Right. She's that bait and switch. I was thinking about that today, the bait and switch, how powerful that is, because that's all it is. Like pretty much in life, if you can understand the idea of the bait and switch, like you're going to really be way ahead of everybody. Like, not only with women, of course, like staying away from them because they do bait and switch all the time. But like financial things, like I use the example when you buy a house, right? Like these banks and real estate agents are trying to get you to buy the house, and then as soon as you buy that house, the next thing they want to do is figure out how to get it back.
Yeah, you should try to figure out how to get it back. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
society in general. They're going to start overtaxing you. The government.
right,
Uh,
right.
you never really own a house because you're always paying rent to the government. Uh, but and which shouldn't be because they don't have the ability to tax anything but commerce. And your house is private property. It's like owning a shirt. It's not commerce. Uh, but they say, oh well, yeah, we'll just continue it in commerce forever, even though I own this house lock, stock, and barrel. It's mine. It's you. We have homestead laws, but they don't pay attention to homestead laws. This is my house. This is my house to the day I die. But they'll try to take it.
I was just trying to find stuff on that Clemmings guy, but
Yeah, I was thinking of what were you saying about
okay.
about uh, regress a few paragraphs.
Uh, RP's he's putting Jeebus.
Jeebus.
He
Yeah,
said,
okay. Yeah.
oh, Brisky Boy.
It's like
Your
the
buddy
bait and
Brisky
switch,
Boy's
yeah.
here. Brisky Boy, the living legend. Where's he out of, Brisky Boy? Is he
I
Australian
think
too?
Brissy Boy is Australian. Yeah, let us know about that, Brissy Boy.
Brisky Boy. Hello, Trav, and all the creepers.
Hello,
I
creepers.
listened to only a few minutes of the video. I'm like, damn, I listened only to a few minutes of the video. I don't know what video he's talking about, RP, but
Yeah.
I guess his wife got kicked. His wife was Anyway, it's more fun making fun of Tawny Katane because she's
Yeah.
she's a bait.
I was thinking like what you just said about the bait and switch and go to.
Yeah.
And I was thinking for something JK would understand. This is like in season 3 of Star Trek with Scott Bakula Enterprise.
Yeah.
And they're going through, and everybody's deceptive, and everywhere they go, they're just out to deceive them and steal their ship. And this whole season is about it's like living in Girl World, isn't it? Where everybody's deceptive, everybody's trying to bait and switch you, everybody's pretending they're something they're not.
Well, yeah, I mean, bait and switch is such an underrated idea, but it happens. I'm in my late 40s and I see it all the time. I see it a lot for employment. You know, they'll try to get you to do a certain, I took this job on and it's in Southern California. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see what happens here. I'm going to give this. I'm already looking at some things. I'm looking at things I do like. Yeah. But the more information I'm getting, the more I'm seeing things I don't like. So I still don't have enough information to evaluate it. But the territory is it's northern. It's the whole state of California. But I'm a seasoned sales rep, right? So I'll evaluate it based on the time I put in and effort versus the amount of money I make. It's really that simple. So, the guy hired me. Was good. I like the guy a lot. Management's good. Product's good. But I'm not going to be your little slave here. You know what I'm saying? What I put in, it's got to be a positive reflection ROI wise on what I'm getting back financially, right? You follow me? So that's the evaluation. So what you do in a big territory is you kind of shrink it down. The reason why I'm saying this is and he was pretty honest with everything, upfront about everything, but the territory, he could have because I've taken jobs where they pulled the bait and switch on me where they're like, oh, this is the job, blah, blah, blah. You're making this. And then next thing you know, the guy wants me to do all these extra projects that aren't listed in the job description. They're not what we talked about in the interview. So that's an example of a bait and switch in corporate in a job. Then I find out this guy, not my current situation because I don't have enough info on it, but I had a job. I was in Southern California for about a year. I was selling nutritional supplements. JK knows about it. It's a really good company, but he did this bait and switch shit, and I noticed the guy wasn't the guy that was my manager or the guy working. He was above me. He wasn't doing any work. He'd be at the beach every day, and I'm just doing all the work, because I wanted to have a successful territory. And then he's having me do stuff on the weekends, stuff in the evenings.
His work.
yeah, and it's not, and it's you got to get better, dude. Just fake it. Don't And he should have told me that before I took the job, because that's an important thing to know. Oh, you're going to have seminars on maybe once during the week on a weekday. You're going to have a seminar from 6 to 8 at night, and just be honest, And and you're gonna, and like I would, like maybe once every weekend, on a Saturday I would work. But that's important information because that's how I'm evaluating if the job makes sense. So
Yeah.
I felt like he bait and switched me, and then I wasn't happy with it. So that's an important thing to
The
understand when
company
people.
relies on him doing a good job too.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
like at the beach.
yeah, and so I pulled the MGTOW on him, and I pretty much told him to F off. I was like, yeah, I did it for 6 months, and and so, but yeah, so I think what I'm trying to say is don't take things like as MGTOW, we can't. We know not to take things at face value because people lie. I mean, people lie,
People
especially
lie. That's the dark
women.
side of human
And women
nature.
like Schopenhauer said, women are the most cunning, beings on the planet. So,
Right, and like we've been saying, they get away with it. The social norms are being pushed where their moral chains are extended, and they're allowed to be casually cruel to men, which they do with the creepy comments, the toxic male comments, their opinions basically about competition. How easy would it be if you could just have an opinion about your competition in your sales department, and that was taken as the truth?
yeah,
You would do well, and would you use it? You would use it, and that's the dark side of human nature, and that's what women do. They use these little gifts from probably the 45% of the 45% of males that they can use as by proxy agents for themselves.
yeah. Now, yeah. By the way, Brissy's from Brisbane, Australia.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
it's really cold there right now. It is cold in Brisbane. I was looking at this map of Australia earlier today.
Yeah.
And up on the north side, there was like this mountain range that looked like a hole.
Yeah.
I was doing the satellite thing, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what name.
They're very very nice people in Australia. Like I've never met I never met an Australian that's I haven't met a lot of them. I know like Jeff's Australian, and but they're just very polite, like respectful people. It's like we're not used to that in our country.
One of my questions is Australians. Do you have Southerners like we have Southerners? Like they're just mean and they're bigoted and they're mean and they're casually cruel to everybody and they run around and try to rape people. Like what was that movie with Burt Reynolds?
Deliverance, or what is it called?
Deliverance. Yeah. Do you have like Deliverance hillbillies there?
Yeah. Boy, that was really strange. That was a really strange movie. Like that's like one of those scenes that like traumatizing.
Nah, we don't.
Yeah, that's like a traumatizing scene, and just like when Juliette Lewis beat up those truck drivers or whatever. Like
Juliette Lewis like opened the heads up of like all these people just men.
see, that's what I have to get enough money together so I can create a movie where Juliette Lewis gets her ass kicked by a bunch of like whatever, like elementary
incels.
yeah. The Revenge of the Nerds. Like Juliette Lewis gets her ass.
Yeah, Gemma and Joe Buddy and.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Buddy's an incel. Gemma.
Maybe I can arrange for that now that I'm in California.
Steve Hoka like beat up.
I would get Hoka. I would get Hoka on Juliette Lewis and Jessica Parker. And who's the other one we used to make fun of? Jessica Parker. Juliette Lewis. There's one more. Joyce. Oh, Joyce. Yeah,
Joyce. Yeah,
Joyce, the Bitcoin thief, and
that's what's his name, sister.
Yeah.
He
took it in stride. He like mention is such a. He's such a he's an interesting guy, but he took it in stride. Like I don't know, like he took it in stride. Like here's a guy that's really has a lot of inner strength because he was able to kind of just brush it off pretty well.
Yeah, he got hit a lot, and he was just like,
He was like, Joyce,
he was mad. There's 2 videos, he had 2 or 3 videos. I don't know if he said. And he was mad about that, and I can see why he's mad, because he was,
Yeah,
she was stealing, and she was taking advantage of this cool Connie, and even
he's such a
and
that's
he
why.
taking advantage of
Yeah,
his kind disposition.
yeah. But he's a good dude. You could just tell. I think with him, like a guy like him, since he's not around women, he's automatically going to have a lot. He's going to automatically appear and act more like with so much more masculinity and strength than other men. It's like just automatically. And
you probably have a really great neighbor. It'd be like every day, like leans over the fence and, hey, Joe, I grew these melons last week for you. Here.
Yeah, like Vincent would be like the perfect neighbor to have, right? He'd be like the coolest guy. He's like one of those guys, like we don't see a lot of, like I know in my life here, like I'm right now. I'm just relaxing. It's like a nice, I'm getting this breeze right now. I'm staying at this like one of the nicest areas in Southern California, in Pasadena, and it's like such a nice day. I get this cool breeze, and
it's truly a gift, MGTOW, isn't it? Just kind of
just enjoying my life and relaxing. But yeah, like what I was gonna say, like a guy like Vention, that'd be like so like I'm like, I don't see a lot of guys like you or Vention or RP or JK or like they're not, or Jeff or who's the SFM, Black Wolf, like these men in my life, real life, they're just, I don't see them. I mean, I know they might be out there, but you don't see a lot of these types of people around.
We exist, but we exist on a different plane, and it's hard to, like MGTOWs don't get together. We all live in different states, and there's one MGTOW around here, who that is. And there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I know, 6, and the rest of them kind of under the cloak of an anonymity. But I do know of six MGTOWs in this general area.
Okay. Yeah.
But we never visit each other, or have any get-togethers or anything like that, and it's just it doesn't.
I got a lot of half MGTOW guys.
The people you see that are they're sort of MGTOW. They'll say something sort of MGTOW.
But yeah, that's why the whole idea of your Simpsons are forgiven.
Yeah,
you just have to let things go. Like RP was telling me about that, and it's very important idea is just letting those Simpsons go. And
we all did it at one point. We're all guilty of it, and
exactly.
And it's like but we discovered that portion of ourselves through introspection, and that's what MGTOW gives you. It's like, what else is in there, that I want to sweep side of my side of the sidewalk. What else do I need to get rid of? And we find out a lot of things we need to get rid of, and it's not your fault. You're programmed by society to act that way,
right? To act like you, like if you're not slaving, if you're not a good slave. I tell you what, this might be one of the last sales jobs I do, because I'm not going to be stuck in the traffic out here. I'm not going to bust my ass for a few trinkets, because I got this teaching. I have a teaching degree, and I'm at the point now where, let's just see how it goes. I'm going to be going this real positive, but I might have to brush up that teaching degree and just say, hey, maybe it's time to pull up and just, it's good to have an ego, like you said. I think it's good to have a big ego. Like in sales, you need to have a big ego. You really do, or you're going to get squashed, especially in a city like Los Angeles and San Diego.
You need to be.
You got to walk around like you're like, I just got my dry cleaning bill and I wasn't too happy with it, but hey, I got to dress the part. I got to look good. I got to put on the $150 shoes and all this kind of shit, if I want to sell my product. So, but if this thing doesn't, I'm not going to be a little slave guy here, and if the ROI is not there for me, then hey, I got to probably go a different direction and teach, and because I see things differently now. I'm not going to be that slave guy that's like that corporate slave guy in my 20s and 30s. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stress, because to me, I think the low stress, I think that's what attracted me to MGTOW as much as anything, having that low stress. Like you see it, like Invention's a good example, because look at what, Joyce took 20,000 from him, and he kind of was able to, like shrug it off and not, if it was me, I would have probably, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I would not have been happy.
I would have called the police myself, and
Right. Right.
It's hard to say what, it is a sister, so that has a little to do with it. There's genetics there, and
right. But my whole idea is I'm not chasing that. I just need enough to pay my bills, and I have a good quality of life, and I have a lot. I'm fortunate because I have a lot of options, through teaching and through business, and and that's the thing I think men need to. I think the reason you should consider, you call it the MGTOW program,
yeah,
because it's going to create less stress, like immediately too, and it's going to give you so many more options,
right?
you know.
It opens up a different world and a different behavior, which tends to lead you to more success. I mean, I got to put that in place myself. It's not like it magically happens. Like, this place is drying up and dying. I'm dying here, and I have to consider doing things now at my age too. What physically I can do and what physically I can't do, and it's like, wow, that's them are things that you always have, but MGTOW helps you through them once you, because of the ego. I think it has a lot to do with a positive. You're a little more forceful. You're a little more centered on what's good for myself rather than the world, and that'll help out.
Yep, that's a great point. Understanding what you want out of life, not what other people want.
Right, not what you can do for everybody else. At a certain point,
right.
Like, there's a harmful altruism. At a certain point, you do so much for everybody else that you leave yourself vacant, and
that's right.
And that's a bad thing. Men always have to remember that. That's part of introspection that you have to do too, as a MGTOW. Am I doing too much? And maybe that's with Vention. He was like, maybe I'm just being too nice of a guy here, and that's what you have to say. Sometimes you have to close that stuff down, like with your sisters, and it's like you have to close that stuff down and say, I have to get a case of the efforts, and because I have to consider myself.
Right, because those are the people that have the heart attacks when they're young, or they have the substance abuse problems. And why are you drinking? And why are you stressed out? Well, it's because
why are you drinking? Why are you
right? Like, I don't know. Right, you're escaping. You're trying to escape this the stress, or a job situation where you have a boss that's a real nitwit or whatever, and you gotta always have, like, I have so many different backup plans. like listen, I love it out here. Southern California is great, but boy, I was in the traffic today, and I was like, man, well, let's just see. I start work I think I'm going to start Thursday or Friday, but I'm waiting for my business cards and shit, and but once all that stuff I'm going to evaluate. I'll know within probably a few months if this is going to be worth my time, and so I'm looking, again, the low stress life. I'm not out to impress anybody. It's funny, when I bought my first house like 20 years ago, I was in my, I was a young guy, and and I bought that with the intention of, I'm going to have a white. I was like heartburn.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a unicorn hunter. I'm going to get I'm going to have 3 or 4 kids someday. I'm going to buy this house, and then someday I'll get married. And I wasn't even thinking about really all the stress, and I was like living in this fantasy fiction world, even though I did have the education and the confidence and experience in my job to make a lot of money, but it doesn't matter. That stuff's out of my control, because the company can just decide one day. Working for corporations like being married, because essentially, like you did, you got that day where your wife said, hey, you know what? I don't. You're not meeting my needs or whatever. And a company, when you're working for somebody else, that's the same thing. They can just one day say, oh, you know what? No. Yeah, your 6-figure job. Oh, no, forget it. You're gone. We don't need you anymore.
Just like that. It could just be, and you're standing there with that look like there was some dishonesty in here, and
right.
But they're acting like, no, it's our right to do that, and
right.
I mean, your life changes at Harvard. That's where the traversable philosophy came from. That you have to transfer into something new very quickly. Then
right, and you got to create as many options as you can in life.
Yeah,
that will lower your stress level for sure.
Right. Yeah. Stress is important. While if you're focused on one thing and it doesn't work out, the stress levels just go very high. I can do this, I can do this, I can go here, and that's what I got to focus on. What I can do, and it's like you get those options, and then sooner or later, like with you, one of them's going to come around.
Right.
And then you jump on it.
Yeah, because I have advanced degree in teaching, and it's in a specialized field. It's not like, it's a field that, I'll put it this way, the government want teachers in that field so it's like a cash cow.
Yeah.
So it's like I got a job waiting for me. I just got to do a couple tests and do a couple certifications, which will take me less than a year, and then I'm already rolling on that. And then and I'm working on a business degree, and I already have all this sales experience, but yeah, I created all these options for myself. But the best one was not being tied down to Tawny Katane, her partner, or Juliette Lewis. I wasn't who's a character on that movie? Woody Harrelson, was it?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson.
Natural Born Killers, and there's another guy you want to in that movie. I wish I could transport myself into that movie and punch him in the face too, but but he was stuck with Juliette Lewis, and so I'm not stuck with that craziness, and well, trust me, I'm like you, right? I've been roped into it's been attempted on me to get roped in. Oh, I got a nice girl for you, or I got this, or why don't you get married? Why don't you have a girlfriend? It's obviously now I'm a strong MGTOW where it's like I kind of laugh at that stuff, knowing what I know. But probably 15 years ago, I was probably, still, like a blue pill freaking idiot, So, but the reason why the reason why I'm relaxed here in Pasadena, and I'm catching a great breeze here, and it's it's like 85 degrees, and
nice.
It's because I'm a MGTOW. I think I have a MGTOW to thank for it, but you're right. But when you have all those options, you're right. It takes all the pressure off. But there's this new job I have. There's absolutely no pressure. There's absolutely no pressure.
There's
obviously,
you just
yeah, because I'm not gonna be that guy stuck in California traffic between 3 and 6, and no, that's not gonna happen. No, I'm avoiding that at all costs.
Yeah, don't people in California know how to take the byways?
What's that?
Don't people in California know how to take the byways or work the streets?
It's almost like it's so congested that even that's gonna be effed up. So you have to. The key to it all is just planning you have to plan it, right? Every single move. It's not like today I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they had 2-for-1 today. Mm-hmm. Buffalo. So nice. So I had I had an 8-mile drive, and it takes a half an hour, for 8-mile drive, and and that's actually good. That's actually a short. That's actually nothing wrong with that. That's not even a big deal. It's when you get into those situations where you got, 30 miles and you got 2 hours to go 30 miles, and it's like, oh shit, man. But I like this company a lot. I think they got a lot of potential, and it's worth it for me to take the time to take a look at it. But I'm just gonna approach it like I'm just gonna have fun with it, and I'll evaluate it if it's worth my time or not. And if it's not, then I'll have to just consider something. That time I was joking around to you about I think maybe the best job is just get a job at the mall,
Yeah, sometimes I think that too. I did my analogy one day with the electrician, and then I had to hang the parts one day because that guy didn't show up. And I was like, I like this job. I don't have to think.
Yeah. Like I have a family member who works at he's a blackjack dealer
I make the same money.
For 20 years. He's been a blackjack dealer at a major casino. Mm-hmm. And he has a advanced degree in science, or he's a really smart guy. And but he just said, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I just want to get a job where I can just do the job and go home. And blackjack dealer's not, I wouldn't say it's a fun job because you got people losing money or whatever, but he's been doing it, and he's built a pretty good life for himself, Yeah,
I mean, there's social interaction. You're doing something you like to do. It's like not hard or stressful.
That's right.
You probably get an asshole, but then again, you just push the button.
I knew a woman who worked at she was a pharmaceutical sales rep, and she just had enough. She was like going to have like a nervous breakdown. So she ends up getting a job at Nordstrom, and I ran into her because I used to do like pharmaceutical medical sales, and so I ran into her, and she's like, hey, she was like a totally different personality. She was so happy. Like, she goes, I'm so glad I'm out of that world. I just come here and I put my time in and I clock out. No emails, no demeaning, like, interaction with management and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, man,
great company.
Yeah. She was
they have altruistic programs for their employees, and for the public too. They give out. That's who saved my life. Probably Nordstrom did. And,
really?
Yeah, when I went to people that had what I had happen to me, and they put together a group program for just people like that in this area, which I was just kind of privy to stumble upon, and I went, and it was like, they were trying to figure out what the symptoms and what of that was. And that's the program. Also, the saddest program of my life is the 12 guys that were in that. One exists on this world right now, and that's me.
Yeah.
The rest of them committed suicide, but what I learned, I took it like differently, and that's when they gave me the photography class where I did the inspection of my personality and how they showed me how to deal with life, and they're the ones that gave me the ideas about, like, every time you leave the store, just say thanks, you guys did a great job.
Yeah.
To look at life in that attitude.
Yeah. It is, like, today when I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, like, boy, thanks for being here. Thanks for you guys make great wings.
I always do
2-for-1 wings. I got 20. I got 20 wings today. It was like, the bill came out to like $18 or whatever. Yeah. Which is not cheap, but it's still pretty good. Like less than $1 a wing, and they were good wings. They were like, I got the Parmesan garlic and spicy garlic.
Ooh, I love that.
The waitress was great. It was nice, cool in there. Great.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, you can't walk into a place and treat the waitress bad and yell at everybody and expect to be treated well.
No,
it's once when they get to know you in there too. I'll tell you what, you do it if you're overly nice and say thank you and that. The next couple times you go in there, and then I'll bet you at least the third or fourth time you go in there, like there's going to be like 24 wings for 20. Yeah. And she'll be smiling at you, and she'll know your name, and life's better that way.
I do that all the time now. Like I say, like I ask them, how their day, like, how's your day going? And they're like shocked. Like, I don't know if you get that. Do you get that? Like, they're shocked that you asked that question.
Yeah,
they're shocked that I asked that question. Like, oh, how's your day going today?
I do that situation. The common answer to how your day is everything's great, and I'll go, really, or are you just saying that? And then I'll strike up a conversation and make it into an infinite conversation. It's like I'll say, no, you're just saying that, isn't it? And I'll say, isn't it funny how us humans, when we're asked how we're doing, we always say great. And there's so much more to us, and it could be a bad day, and I might need to reach out, and I might need, just a little bit of somebody to notice that I exist.
Yeah, and then be sincere about it.
And be sincere about it, and I strike up a conversation, and I'm always doing my psychology on people, and like that's how one way I get people to open up, and come on, tell me how your day really is. I'm sincere.
Yeah.
And
I was just gonna see if anyone wanted to come in. I just invited him in, but yeah, that's the thing. When you're sincere about it, you're doing it out of sincerity, right? Because they'll put on it if you're just doing it out being a wise ass.
Yeah, and I've learned through the whole. At first, it was a mask I was wearing, and I was like, "Hey, everybody, have a nice day. I love you all." That sort of thing. And then after a while, it rubbed off on me, and I realized that it made me feel better about myself, and then I started really getting into it, and like, hey, thanks, and I put some emotion to it, and I displayed my valid emotions, and I ask, little personal questions like, how you doing? Your hair looks great today. Did you redo it? Stuff like that, and
Yeah.
notice, things about people.
Yeah. I said that I was at the Hilton the other day. I was in Vegas for a couple of days, and this lady was really nice. She's like, oh, my hair got wet because it was raining, because it never rains in Vegas. And it did. Her hair looked good. I said, oh, your hair looks good.
Your hair looks great, baby. And it's like,
It actually did
if
look
that's
good.
your hair looking bad, you should do that all
she
the
had like this
time
nice
and
curly
make you
hair,
feel
and
good
it's
about
like,
it yourself.
yeah, she had this nice curly hair, and I was like, oh, yeah, it looks. It's like those are nice things to say to people. Like you can,
Right.
because even someone that's maybe not physically attractive, like female,
Right.
There's always something nice about it. They might have a nice pair of earrings on, or a nice haircut, or there's always something attractive that you can find something.
Yeah, if you can't find something good in people, then
Right.
you're talking about yourself. Then you're talking about how you feel about the world. If you can't find something good in every person you meet, then it's just telling on yourself that you have an inability. And that's what I had. I had an inability at that point in my life to recognize good in people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's not to say be naive,
No, don't be naive. Just, it's just a thing you do when you're out there to make yourself. When I go out, man, I just get the biggest kick out of being out now.
Yeah.
It used to be like, I got to go there. I would rather just sit here and watch football. And it's like, that's the kind of guy I used to be. Now, after this, it's like I take my bike, I get on it, I go up to the gas station. Not that I get gas, I, buy some smokes or something up there and some candy or something. And I'm real nice. And then I make it a habit to go to like the dollar store and then go over to the other store just so I can see people. And I go to the park and be the same way in the park. Hey, how you doing? That's a great looking dog. And it's fun. It makes life fun. And that's for you, not for everybody else.
Yeah. That's the thing, I think, like, because we have so much less stress than
But that was from Nordstrom. That's where that came from. It's like they're a very good altruistic company.
Yeah, it's a good way to live, and
I always meant to send like a personal letter. Who owns Nordstrom?
I don't know. I'll look it up. Yeah, I know that.
Just send a personal letter and thank them for that, for just giving me that, and in their life, just somebody cared once in their life for some cranky old guy.
He died when? What? Blake Nordstrom?
Yeah, I think their name's Blake Nordstrom and
Eric Nordstrom.
Eric Nordstrom.
Eric and Blake, yeah. Key people. Brad Smith's the chairman of the board now.
Okay, Brad Smith.
Yeah, but it is actually a family brand, right? Peter Nordstrom, Eric Nordstrom. Yeah, I remember that was like a real big. I remember because my uncle lived in Chicago. He was talking about this Nordstrom's, like, because in the East Coast, because I think they're more popular in the Midwest, right? I think.
Yeah, the Midwest, they were big in this area, but I never knew of them until I got up here. It's like the first time I seen it was up here, and then I was like, man, these people are really. And then they have a small company up here. I can't remember which direction it is. It's a big company, not a small company, but and then I was like, they do a lot for the community. They do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a Nordstrom in your community, they're probably really, really busy in that community.
Yeah. But she was really happy, this lady, and because the corporate sales.
Right. If you do the research, you find that they treat their employees really good.
Yeah, and those are the companies you got to try to research and find. Don't just look at the money. Like, people are always looking at the money, but.
Yeah, they got some. I was reading up on. They got an internal process of, and their managers all go through this internal reviews and stuff that make sure that they're not being dicks.
Oh, really?
Corporate culture thing. I was reading past corporate culture. You know what corporate culture is, and into more like personal H&R and stuff like that. And so it was, yeah. I could say that probably one of the few companies in my life that I've ever noticed that were just truly altruistic. There are probably
Yeah.
more companies like that can't, and how much money you have, and you know, I think I think a lot of companies could take that model.
Yeah. 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 They just don't care. Like, well, that's why they love hiring these younger people, because they know that they're not, like, they hate hiring guys like me,
Yeah,
even though I have the experience and can do the job blindfolded. They don't want to hire a guy that knows they can't get over on me. They can't, like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
They can't. You're not going to take advantage of me. It's like, it's not.
right. Yeah. Well, you
I,
have to put yourself sometimes in that position where you have to be a little stern, and I could do it well. I change gears really well, where I do the. Do I look like that guy that you could say that to? And I get really
well,
seriously. You have to change positions sometimes, and it's always nice to be happy and just self confident, happy, and little ego. But at a certain point, sometimes you have to back people off,
yeah,
and
yeah.
knowing when to do that becomes it's a balancing act.
Well, I think like one of the things that I learned is that when you're in those situations, like, you don't have to just like I used to just quit, like,
Yeah,
I would go like full MGTOW and just like, "Yeah, I don't need this job, I'll just quit. Like, I'll figure it out later," and I always did.
yeah,
But that's not really the right move. I think a better move would be just hey, instead of working till 5, 6 o'clock like I usually do, I'm gonna cut out of work at 2 or 3 o'clock. And
yeah. Start looking at your options and start,
right,
you
right,
know, putting yourself in a better situation where it might be deluding yourself into happiness. Uh, you know, just pretend, fake it till you make it sort of attitude, and then look for an out. I mean,
yeah,
that's probably the best way to do it most of the time. You don't want to put yourself at risk, and you don't want to, but then there are things with maturity too. You learn these things as you mature, you maturate in life.
yeah. Just like you said, so yeah, understand what your options are, and like you said, like, that's our program, the MGTOW program. It gives you all these options.
Right. Yeah. That's what you're always looking for, is you consider things in a rational way. The rational MGTOW, he looks at like you do. I look at Bitcoin, and you look at, just for example, I don't believe, I've never had the money to invest in Bitcoin, but uh, look at other options, like it's always sort of like if you're a construction worker, like you can build decks, or you can install doors, or you can put driveways in, or you can put you can hang garage doors. You go down to your local DIY and look at the products, and can I do that? And like, would that be profitable? Can I, it's the same thing in life. What are my options? And you write them down, or take mental note of them options.
Yeah, and that's why like I said, like, as I've gotten older, I've kind of, when I became a MGTOW, I would kind of, I don't say well, I guess I would say kind of make fun of, like, married guys, and
Yeah,
but now I have more empathy towards them, because just of
yeah. I
the
find
stress that they're under.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
you never forget that these men are humans. They don't deserve that, but just because they can't see it. Like, sometimes Joe Buddy and Charles, they're married, they're in that situation, they're trying to understand the MGTOW, but they're human. They deserve our respect and our help if they ever need it, and uh, they're human too, and that's the way MGTOWs look at the world. We're not casually cruel. Now, that was a lesson that took years to understand.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good place to be when you have the empathy and
Yeah.
you know, I,
You know, I think most MGTOW start with that because they see the immediate suicide problem. And it's like, can you have empathy for that guy that he put himself in that situation? I know he did. You know he did. But now he's hit and he's suicidal. Can you have that much empathy to reach out to him? And you know, we used to spend how many hours with guys around here, you know, talking and talking and talking and getting them past that point.
yeah. Well, I think a lot of times they just they don't want to even do that introspection because they're afraid what they're gonna find. You know,
Yeah,
I,
that's the most difficult part. What are you going to find out about
yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
Maybe,
You're gonna find that you got. You know, I mean, I don't want to sound really mean here, but you got taken advantage. I mean, you're getting screwed.
you're getting screwed. Yeah, that was your fault because your ideas were wrong, and that's the hard part is when you realize that your ideas were wrong, and you're like, no, wait a second, that's what I was taught, and then you start getting it. Oh, I was taught that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then you learn about Schopenhauer, and then you learn about you learn about the chemicals and the
The
pheromone. You know,
chemicals are important to know, and
yeah, and
it's
then
not the biggest thing to know, but it's one of those important details that
yeah,
we forget. And
and then you observe it. And then the thing is,
yeah,
you like through
observe,
everyday observations, like you see how women act. You see how
right?
you see how cunning they are, and it's like that's just part of their DNA. They're literally like human snakes. You know, they can't help themselves. It's just part of their nature. It's just their nature. That's how they are.
Right, it's just their nature, and you know, life's like that too. You know, today I was riding up around the corner, and I took a different route up to the store this morning, and
Yeah,
coming down this road, and there was a little bit of construction happening, and the bulldozer guy backed out right in my lane, and I had to swerve around him, and then right immediately after that, like a dog started running after me, so I grabbed my pepper spray and I just gave a little trail, and
yeah,
if it was a woman, she was yelling at the dog, and that was right after the bulldozer pulled out and almost hit me. And then right at that corner, I had no choice, but I had to run the stop sign and just kind of whip around the corner and get ready for the dog to try to bite me. And there was a cop there, and he was just looking at me like, he didn't even do nothing. He was like, it was like he was just looking at it like, look at this fucking shit.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, it was one of those exciting moments, but I had to tuck that right away in life. Put that away. I stopped and shook it off, and you know, did what I was supposed to do. And those moments are going to come in life where you're under extreme stress.
Yeah, yeah. But that's like part of the harm reduction and what we do, you know. With the,
Can you continue talking for a second? Someone's
oh
knocking
yeah.
on the window.
Hopefully it's not Claire's sister like serving you what do you call it? What do they call it? Cease and desist letter. So that's one thing you learn uh, when you become like a true MGTOW. One of the things you learn is you never answer the door for anybody. You know? JK knows that, or Jigsaw Saw. JK is going to make a guest appearance today. That's what I hear. But yeah, but creepy men, are we men that insensitive? Yeah, if you're not simping, you're definitely considered a creep because you've kind of figured out the scam. You know, is what it comes down to. And I think the big scam is that bait and switch. Always look after the bait and switch in life. You know, that's what you wanna. be aware of, not to always take things at face value, because people have jealousy. Jealousy is definitely something that I had to learn a lot about, like family members and friends, that are just jealous of success, and you know jealous of your successes and jealous of your lifestyle as a MGTOW, which is pretty much low stress and kind of a winning lifestyle. If you uh, and when they see that, they get jealous, and so it's just something, just things to be aware of, and don't let it throw you off. A closed door is a safe door. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I'm with you, JK. I don't answer the door for the only time I answer the door is if I have a package or something I'm expecting, or obviously a guest or whatever. But if it's something that's not expected, I'm not answering the door. There's absolutely no way. But no one is knocking at a MGTOW's door unless it's another MGTOW or the delivery guy. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm at the point now because I tend sometimes to over tip. So I'd rather just pick up the food and just, instead of tipping $10 for the food, just, tip like $3, for the takeout person, when I pick it up. So I save $7, gets me out of the house, whatever. But sometimes you just don't want to do it, right? You just got to get it delivered. So, but Trav is the creepy coach today. He's got the creepy background. Um, but um, but but yeah, I have a lot of respect for a guy like Vention, who's able to kind of, they really, it's a terrible thing what his sister did, and he was able to kind of take it in stride. I think you don't see a person who's not a MGTOW, they're really not gonna be that calm in those situations. Do the creep? Yeah, yeah, sure, JK. How are the supplements going, JK? I gotta, I gotta get some BRI supplements. JK's favorite. Yes, yes. Claire has to sign off on that. But anyway, I don't know if you guys caught Italy. Italy beat England, so that was pretty cool. I know England kind of choked on the penalty kicks. They had all these young guys shooting, but I had a good feeling when they had all these young. When I'm finding out these guys taking the England penalty kicks, there were all these young guys. Like, you just had a feeling they were just not going to be as calm when it was their turn to kick. And sure enough, it happened. They couldn't convert. But I'm kind of surprised the coach put all these young guys, let all those young guys take those penalty kicks. So you figured have more experienced people in there to take those kicks. So I don't know. I don't really. I think it's more the coaching there in that situation. Good coach would have had some veterans out there that are just going to be calm in those situations and level-headed. Yes, doctor not sent them. I'm going to be covering some of that area, JK. I don't know if I'm going to get up to Northern California. It might be too far of a drive. But I'll keep you posted, bro. If I ever head back to Vegas, which I might do, you got to come out and visit. Get out of the good weather in Northern California and go to the good weather in Nevada. I think we got a mate out here on the West Coast. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, JKRP, the OG Joey Fagator. Oh, another OG. Let me see the OG list here. Well, Force is an OG. Joey Fagator OG. JK OG. RP OG. AP 530. I don't know who you are. I got a huge creep factor. Who else? Rissy's an OG, of course. ISYLDD. I don't know who you are, but thanks for stopping in. Who else am I missing here? Troy. Yeah, Troy. Yeah, I don't know who you are. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. We'll have to do it. We'll have to look into that TJ Clemmings thing. TJ Clemmings has not seen his newborns. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, well, it's her baby, right? Sports are dying, and not because of the men that watched it in the past. Yeah, I agree, RP. I mean, it's like the athletes today are just they're like politicians. It seems like now, they're making so much money. It's absurd amounts of money. There's actually an NBA game on today. I don't know if they started it. I know Phoenix is playing Milwaukee. Phoenix Suns. Let's see what the score is. They're probably playing now. Yeah, it's 29-24, second quarter, 8:47. This is game 6. Milwaukee's up 3-2. So if they win today, they win the championship. If Phoenix wins, they go to game 7 back in Phoenix. The Phoenix is up 2-0 on that. And now they're down 2-3. They lost the last 3 games in a row. So I'm going to pull that up, actually. Strikeout Sports. Strikeout.nu. But what I've been hearing a lot of lately is just people saying, like, how are things? Like, I'll say something like, how are things? I'll have to talk to Trav when he gets back on this one. I don't know if he's heard it, but you ask people how they're doing. They're like, I'm hanging in there. Sometimes that's all you can do. And, and as a MGTOW, sometimes I have to laugh at that because I don't think that's the case with most MGTOW, if any MGTOW. If you're a true MGTOW and you embrace the philosophy and you understand it, and obviously have a good understanding of the world, and the bait and switch and women, and women are the masters of the bait and switch, and like the better, the idea of labor and stealing labor, and how corporations like to steal your labor and steal your thoughts and without and efforts without proper compensation. If you understand these things, you can make certain adjustments in life to still have a great life. Another example is just getting away from interest. Getting away from doing business with banks. Where you're paying interest, which is really absurdity, and that's a predatory world that we live in. We talk about predatory world. That's what we're talking about a lot of times is interest. You get these banks charging all this interest at credit cards, or things like that. You want to try to avoid that the best you can. RP only watches hockey and ice sports. Yeah, he's from Canada. That's right. That's all they do up there is watch hockey. Canadian football. I don't think they're into it. I stopped watching football when they had more female commentators than male ones. Yeah, that's true too. It's one of those kind of absurd things, right? You got women doing all this commentating on physical sports and like football, giving their analysis on the performance of these men that are busting their ass. But hockey is okay, but it's not the season right now. Yeah, I saw Tampa won, right? I think Tampa won the championship. The Tampa, what are they called? The Lightning. That's the second. I think they won 2 in a row now. But well, yeah, I'm going to check out this basketball game in a second here. I think if you're a basketball fan, then definitely watch that game because that could be the last NBA game of the season. But I'm pulling for Phoenix because I'd like to see a game 7. So it should be a good game today. Phoenix Suns. Let's see what's going on in this game. I'll pull it up right now. 31-26 Milwaukee. Good game. It's going to be a good game. It's on ESPN. I think it's on ESPN here. Joe must have had Claire come in, and I think there's probably a form like so when we do these podcasts, and I know you guys probably think I'm joking, but we actually have to Claire, Joyce, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Juliette Lewis. I think there's one other woman. I know those four for sure. Could be one other one that. So anyway, they have to sign off on these podcasts.
Sorry about that, man.
Oh, no, that's all right.
Yeah, so,
I was just explaining to everybody that because I was thinking that was that Sarah Jessica Parker? Or was that her? No.
yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker was one on.
Okay.
God, Friends. Not
Yeah.
Friends.
Yeah, she was on
Sex and the City.
She was on Sex and the City, but then she was on Square Pegs when she was younger.
She did the prostitute in Matthew McConaughey movie when he lives with his parents, Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah. I saw some clips of that. And you know, it's interesting how when I couldn't find where he talks about, he throws a lot of red pill knowledge in there for men, and all the red pill knowledge that he gives out, it's like squashed as being stupid, and
it's squashed as being stupid. Yeah,
right. They do it intentionally to right. It's like an intentional thing to say, oh, this
right.
guy, he's giving out all this important information, but right.
Yeah, the blue pair parents, and then
they're doing it. They're doing it to make a wise. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, no, I was just kind of trying to redo the movie in my head, and yeah, so it was your classic beat down the male.
Yeah.
And he'll. What's that called? Lost in.
Right, beat down the wise man in the movie.
Stunted. What is that?
What's the movie called?
No, what's the syndrome for a male that lives at his house way too long? It's stunted. I can't remember what they call it, and it was big at that time.
Hokoroids?
Hokoroids, yeah. No, it was, I can't remember. It was kind of a catchy little phrase that they were using. Like he just wants to live at his house with his parents, and he's arrested development.
Arrested Development, yeah.
Yeah, he was, and they overdo it. Like Arrested Development is most males don't finish the development of their prefrontal cortex till they're close to 28 years old.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Failure to Launch is a movie, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Failure to Launch is the movie. It was about Arrested Development. And most males, but think about that. The male, and it's probably why the prison system is filled with younger males, because we're not ready to leave the house because our frontal cortexes aren't fully developed. And until at least 24, 25 years old. And that's why you should go to school during that time, because you're developing your frontal cortex and how you perceive the world. And but males are forced into, like me, at 17 years old, I'm in the Army. I'm 18 years old. I'm fighting for my country. It's like, how did that impact the way I look at the world? Because my prefrontal cortex was still developing. And I remember some of the things that I used to do back then were immature, and I was around the older guys in this unit, and I had special skills and everything that they'd given me, but I just wasn't mature like they were. And some of the stupid things I did, I'm kind of ashamed of to this day. And but it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. I think all of us have. We've done things that but the Simpsons are forgiven. But we've all done that, I think.
I'm fresh out of and I didn't even graduate from high school. I was just right from living on the streets to the Army, and I was supposed to, I did rather well, but that was a hard situation, and I wasn't always in control. I needed some guidance. I needed a male mentor figure at that point. I did. Some of the guys, helped me through that. But women, they get that like we were talking about, they always get that the ease and comfort of empathy, while a male doesn't.
Yeah. 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 Well, and a lot of it's I think the physical, like the physicality, because we're so much more physical and
right. Yeah, I look like a man at
right.
that point, and I didn't have quite the I didn't have a beard, but I look like a man. But I you know, my front, it's just the fact that my frontal cortex wasn't developed at that point, and I was still simping and looking for girls, and the only thing in life I wanted to do was get laid.
Well, yeah, I probably got a list of, I don't know, 30 things, stupid things that like I don't even.
Yeah, sometimes
Like,
I
where do
said
I start? I mean, I guess I
know,
wasn't too bad though. I wasn't too bad, but
I think about how women tried to take advantage of my good looks and my physical stature, and it was the Stifler's mother thing. Like I ended up, with this woman I didn't really want to be with, and she knew that I was just a horny young guy. And it's like I regret those things nowadays in life. Who is the ultimate Stifler's mother?
Yeah.
What was that with Al Pacino? One of the first movies he did, when the older woman took advantage of him.
That's Dustin Hoffman, the graduate. Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Hoffman, the graduate.
Yeah. The Graduate.
Yeah, wasn't
he wasn't fooled.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was the
did I
classic.
tell you, you gotta drop the link.
Oh, you want me to drop a link?
You can drop the link for Black Wolf on there, and
okay, I'll drop that in there. I'd like to have
He wanted to talk, but the thing is, the older I get, the more I just get really disgusted and just like the mockery and the whole like stupidity of Hollywood. And because I was in Hollywood I think today or yesterday. I don't know. I drove. So I like drove through there today. They have good. There's good Thai food.
Did you see Mayor of MGTOW?
Worse, They have cool little restaurants there. Yeah, they got a lot of cool like Thai restaurants. They got a lot of good restaurants, especially Thai food. Really good.
I gotta get out there.
The thing is, like, but you see all these ads for these movies, and the older I get, the more I see they're just trying to dumb down everybody down and just make everyone a bunch like they're just the absurdity of this the content that they put out. It's really like, and I know it's just entertainment, and you look at it as just entertainment. But to me, I just think it's just stupid. And I'd rather listen to
more than that.
That podcast you did. Yeah.
The podcast.
Hey, Black Wolf, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Hey, Black Wolf, how you doing? Sounds good.
I'm doing great, man. Just going on fluids for a while, trying to just detox and everything because I've made a choice to give up drinking for a long time because
most MGTOWs go there. I used to drink a lot. I still have a few, but man, I really, really try to watch it nowadays. It's a good thing to do, and it's kind of a natural process in MGTOW that we start seeing chemical stimulants and that kind of life is. No, I want my life to be as happy as one of those happy drunk moments. I want my life to be that without being drunk.
Yeah. I guess I had like that. I don't know if anyone here has ever seen that movie, Roger the Rabbit or whatever, but I just kind of had that moment. You drive up to the tunnel, you come out, and like he's about to go on another adventure, and he just dumps out. Yeah, you saw the movie. The dude just dumps out the alcohol and shoots the bottle.
Yeah,
he didn't need it anymore.
Right, he didn't need it. That bridge to nowhere moment is like, now I'm looking out, and this goes along with the MGTOW. You walk out of the village and all that, and you walk out of the matrix, you get to the first cliff, and you see these mountains, and you're like, I want to climb that one, and the whole horizon opens up. Your whole life opens up before you, and you're like, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I'm not depressed, and I don't want to get drunk anymore, and the reasons why I was getting drunk because I lived in this matrix.
Yeah, that mad world and everything.
Yeah, the mad world. Yeah, let's think about that song, "Mad World." It's like they're all sitting around having drinks, and that was their beer. They're crying in their beer.
Yeah, you gotta admit that song was way ahead of its time when it
Yeah, that
came
song
out.
was way ahead of its time. It's like that was Fear. Tears for Fears did that way back in the late '70s, I think.
Yeah,
And then
I never saw.
it got popularity in the game with but that's a great song, it's a great MGTOW song for how when you're at that point in your life and it's man, some changes have to be done, and I want to be I deserve to be happy. I don't
Yeah,
want to
we
be like that kid sitting around for his birthday.
yeah we really do. I mean, all of us deserve to be happy. I made an effort to one lose some weight and
Yeah,
start hiking and exercising more. I even
it's great. I
I
wish I
started.
could do it.
I mean,
I
well,
think
a little at a time never hurts. Like, I
yeah,
mean, it took me a while to work up, and
you
even
could
if I'm,
do it. It don't take that long. When I used to hike, I started out walk. The first day after my Achilles tendons after they healed, it's like I
hmm
walked around the block, and then the next week I walked twice around the block, and then the next week I walked like up to the store and back, and then at that time I think I still had a girlfriend, and then I was like, "How much you walk a day?" And I was like, "I walk 5 miles a day now." And then I walked like I noticed one day that I walked 5 mile into the woods, and then I was at the 6 mile mark because the signs are there, and I was like, oh shit, I got to walk back, so that's gonna be like 12 miles. But I was just so in that zone that like just looking at the leaves and the foliage and the bugs and everything that I could just take in, and it's like hiking is great. Get
it
yourself a
really
good pair
is.
of boots with go buy those inserts too.
It really is, man. It's a great venue and to
Yeah,
slow down and enjoy life and everything. And that was one of the things I had noticed. I mean, even my content slowed down, and people are like, dude, you don't like uploading videos. No, it's not even like that. It's just I've had time to reflect
yeah,
and get
you're
over
clear,
something.
aren't you? The the
Yeah,
the brain fog's gone. You lose that when you get into MGTOW. You get clear. Everything looks beautiful. It's like
and I was finally able to learn to let some shit go.
yeah,
Past relationships, past friendships that didn't work out the way I wanted to, and even I mean, I made a video about it. I haven't uploaded it yet. I mean, it's there, but I'm just looking at it and going, should I tell this story? And the other part of me is going, yeah, it couldn't hurt. I mean, people deserve to know this
yeah,
and like my journey to that because it wasn't a bad relationship to put me there. It was a good relationship where everything went wrong but the relationship. So
yeah.
I mean, you don't know, like we have like a limited time on this earth, and that taught me I have to
Right.
enjoy what
Yeah.
time I have and make the most of it.
Camus says it's one of the things I remember from the myth of Sisyphus. He talks about we become at right around 30 years old, we become aware of that ticking clock,
Yeah,
and that becomes a big thing in our lives where I'm impermanent on this. We lose that thing when we're kids, like I'm going to live forever, and then that gets replaced with this ticking clock, and now you're really under pressure to, man. Oh, so I want to have fun. I want to be myself. I want to find my agency, and life never gave me that chance. I have a fully developing mind now. I can think. I'm clear, and like, man, life is beautiful when you got that.
yeah, it really is, man. And I've even had time to read a lot of books. I mean, some of the ones that you recommended as well. I mean, I don't know who recommended me this one, but I've been enjoying one book a lot called The King, the Magician, and the Lover, or something like that.
The King, the Magician, and the Lover. I don't recognize it. It's a good book.
Yeah, it talks about the transition from oh my bad. It's called The King, the Warrior, Magician, Lover. I think yeah,
Okay.
it's a book about the transition of from boyhood to manhood, and it lists the positive virtues and the shadow of that virtue, like how if you're this kind of person, like what to watch out for, and then the shadow of that virtue, like the
Okay.
magician is kind of known as the one that makes jokes and laughs at everything, but by the same token, not to fall into that mode of complacency where they forget to self-analyze as well, like the positives and the negatives of both, and then the king and the warrior, they fight and everything, like how all these things are necessary, and these types can make up one person. A person can fit an archetype. It
Okay.
teaches you a lot about yourself when you read this book, and it's great for all ages, man. I would give this book to a kid because it's everything. Some of the stuff I went through was in this book. I mean, it could definitely, like, it definitely teaches you a lot about other people, like yourself, mostly other people and stuff. And I wish I had read that book when I was younger. Could have saved me some time, man, and everything. I
Oh yeah,
finished.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of great books. I was trying to think of one with he's a young man. He's a herder. It's Hispanic. He's a herder of Apocrypha or the Apocriphary, and he wants to travel around the world. And he goes to it. It's a book about growth, about being a male and going out and doing your thing and everything. There's a lot of great books out there. I had to put my Audible on pause because I had too many books, and I was like, I got to read all of them. It's like, you ever get there? You
Yeah.
got too many books, and I just got to stop buying them
Yeah.
and start reading them.
Yeah, I got addicted to getting audiobooks. I mean, I'll get the audiobook first, and if I like it, I'll buy the physical copy because I like to keep my books looking nice, and it's kind
Oh
of
yeah, I do that too. If I really like the book, then I'll buy the physical so I can follow around because a lot of things are complex. You have to
yeah.
read it and listen to it at the same time. It's great. I
That's why
love
it's
it.
great to have. I often like I prefer the hardcover. It's a bit expensive, but I prefer the hardcover, and the only time I get paperback is if there's no other option or if it's something I'm going to be constantly using as a reference. Because I
Yeah.
hate when you have a book and the book ends up bent from like
Oh
constantly being
yeah.
opened.
Yeah. It's always nice when I always look at. I go to garage sales and stuff, and I'm always looking for those hardcover books that are just you go open them up, and it's like, oh man, it's 1816, and like I'll give you $5 for this. It's like, and they feel better. The paper feels that you got that smell. I don't know what they used. Like it was hemp, I think. The hemp paper back then. It's like
Oh
that
yeah.
whole thing is like it's got a leather. It's like, oh man, that's so beautiful. I used to have a lot of them, and my ex sold them for crack.
It's it's kind of funny. I had a friend that wanted to talk about politics, and he got real pissed off at me. He's like, "Oh, you want to talk about politics?" I was like, "Yeah, maybe some other time." He's like, "Man, you really don't care anymore, do you?" I was like, "No, it's not that I don't care. It's just I just I want to live in the here and now, and
Yeah,
worry
politics
about what's
doesn't
going
me
on."
out now anymore. It's like you're supposed to be a Republican or you're supposed to be a Democrat, and it's like no, I'm a MGTOW, and that's a whole
Yeah,
different thing. I mean, it's like I say, it's the most progressive of all. When you're a MGTOW, you are like way beyond everybody else, and it's like politics is so. I don't even know the guys that just are they limited in their capacity to learn, or it's just like that's it for them in life is like opening up Google News and reading the latest political story about and hating someone you never met. Like it's like,
yeah.
ooh,
They want someone to tell them how to think, feel, and act all the time, and it's just
right.
when I look at that, it's just you tell them that. You try to tell people there's more to life than that, but then they're like, "No, if you don't read, you'll never know." And the thing with a lot of people is, and I noticed this, a lot of people read without understanding too.
Yeah,
And
you're even with the audiobook, you tend to just listen sometimes, and it's nice to
yeah,
get the hard copy so you can follow along. But there's going to be that moment when the author says something, just he'll catch your interest, and then you got to go back and then got to go back and listen to it again and again and again until you kind of you swish it around in your mouth, and then it's like, oh, that's what that means. I never knew that.
That's why I like having a book too. That way I can see if it was like word for word or what it normally says. That way I can get a good idea. Just that's why it's good. I mean, it just kind of sucks. I mean, people will read the news and they get pissed off all the time. And I ask my friend like, dude, well, why you read it then? He's like, well, I gotta know. I'm like, well, what's the point of knowing if you're just gonna be pissed the hell off,
Yeah,
all the time? Just nothing we can do to change it. I mean, we could be
yeah.
upset
There's
about it,
not a
sure.
lot you could do. That apathy sometimes is MGTOW apathy is something you have to get used to. It's like, how can I change this thing so big? I can't change the government. You lose that MRA. Like, I'm gonna just get in there and fight for men's rights, and you realize that, man, that's not something you're going to be able to change on your own. And you can have your ideas and everything, but it's too big for you. And together we can do it. That's what we're hoping on here, isn't it? That we all get together and we become a group, a unit where we're working as a unit, a MGTOW unit, and then we can change the world, I think.
I believe so.
But hey, while you're doing that, man, nothing better than learning in life. uh, you become more well-rounded person.
And now it's like a lot of what women do doesn't even really bother me anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, I made one video where I just said nothing. I just gave like a little response video of
Yeah. Do you get to the point now where these guys, the MGTOW lights, they talk about feminism, this feminism? Like, how could feminism possibly influence my life as a MGTOW? It doesn't bother me. Like, it means
yeah.
this much. It means nothing to me.
Yeah, because I racked my brain trying to come up with possible solutions. I think that's why a lot of us were so angry, like in the
Yeah.
earlier stages of MGTOW. We, as men, when we can't fix something, we want to
Right.
replace it. Now we're in a situation where we kind of can't do either one of those. Can't fix women, can't
Can't.
really replace
Yeah.
them
What was
unless
that
you.
old? Not enough duct tape in the world to fix that problem.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You got to put yourself. You think of it's another part of putting ourselves first, and losing that I don't know, what do you call that, stress from the world that they want to throw on you, and they'll throw all that on you to make that your problem. Uh, but man, it's just so good that it, it's that what is it, the solace you get in MGTOW from not having all those
yeah,
problems anymore. It's like I equate it to my mountain biking when I'm in the air, and
and it brings
it's like,
about a sense of clarity.
yeah, it's like a world inside of a world that I'm finally fucking living, and then it's like, I want to do it again. It's so good. I would have never done that when I was even at my age too. It looks weird, but MGTOW brings that strength and that courage out of you. Like you say, you want to go hiking. You're going to want. There's a mountain. I'll be up at the top pretty soon.
And that's what's pretty funny. I mean, I still enjoy making jokes and everything, but I noticed something. You get like remember the time I cut off when I asked Nathaniel, Mr. Research, and all these guys. I mean, I sometimes go back and I watch that video and I look at it now, and I
Yeah,
think about something. I'll eventually get over what ails me, but those
yeah.
same people are still going to be angry and running in a circle.
You're still gonna be, yeah. They're gonna still be doing that, and you got to get your videos here. And I got lots of them for many years. You should be able to look back at them and say, and look at your growth. It should be a piece of art where you're looking at your art and you're looking at yourself grow. And it's like a Monet, it's like he was not very good at first, but he could look back and you can see their growth and all the pictures and how, that's why you should look at your MGTOW videos. It's like, yeah, I wasn't the smartest guy when I first came in here. I wasn't, the best talker, or, I wasn't even good at, I was pretty sick. But look at all this growth over the years, and I'm proud of that. And that's what your video. It's like a video book of yourself.
Yeah, that's what I thought was really awesome about it. I mean, I went back and watched even my first MGTOW video,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself like, God, I was so pissed off.
It was like I took down my first one because it was so horrible. It was like it was cringy and it was horrible, and I was struggling for what to say, and I didn't know what I wanted to say. I knew that something was wrong with this world, and I just had to figure it out, and that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, first it was just like blaming women, then it was blaming society, and now it's just I had to look deep within and think, okay, what am I doing to put
Yeah,
myself in these situations? I'm like, yeah, all those are factors, women, society, laws, and all that stuff.
right.
Like we all know those are factors, but then
Yeah,
I had
those
to sit
factors.
back and really ask myself, what am I doing to get me in these damn
What am
positions?
I doing? I'm sweeping my side of the street. You're becoming a man above reproach. It's like all these things I do to myself, and you hear it all the time. And people used to throw it on you like, "Hey, it's your agency. It's what's the word I'm looking for? You have to, it's your life and everything." They're right, but I had to look deep down inside to get those things are wrong. You know,
Yeah, I mean it's pretty funny now. I get to throw that "who hurt you" thing back at all our enemies because that used to be like a big thing with them, and to
yeah.
those the
Who
ones
hurt
that
you, brother?
happen. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. They said it to us all the time. But funny enough, I'm not even mad about that anymore. And like next
Yeah,
time one of them says that to me, I know how to respond. I can say, "Hey, me." I mean, I could say life in general. I could say women. I could say society. But I'm also going to take. We're doing the very
right.
thing that they kept telling us to do. We're taking accountability,
We're
and
taking accountability.
my way of taking accountability is completely exiting myself out of the situation.
Yeah.
Just
Guess what happens when you take accountability and responsibility for yourself? You get to ask that of other people. And
exactly,
when you look at the women now and it says, "Well, are you taking responsibility for your life? Are you taking responsibility for your body?" And then you realize that no, they're not. And it's like, oh, I'm 100% responsible for everything in my life, even the failures, and I fail a lot. And I'm gonna figure out how not to. It's man,
yeah.
that's a mature adult there. It's like I can figure this thing out. I know where I was wrong. Uh, what is it?
Yeah,
The word I was looking at. The the onus is on me.
exactly. I
I
mean,
got to
like.
own that.
And that's what kind of dawned on me after a while. Yeah, I mean, some things were my fault, some things were out of my control, of course, but
Yeah,
I need to focus on what I can control. And there were some mistakes that I definitely made, and like, it was due to lack of experience, lack of
right.
knowledge. And now that I have that experience and knowledge, I'm able to look at a situation, and when I don't want to be part of something, I'm not even really mean about it anymore. I get up and I just leave.
Yeah, it's nice being with you guys, Spy. I can exit very pleasantly.
You know.
Well, I do that
Go.
thing when I call myself. It's like, oh, I got to take this.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. There's a lot of people that make fun of us like going our own way. They get mad and they try to use us and go, well, we don't want you here anymore. Go your own way or whatever. And
Yeah,
they're the ones that are angry. And I've noticed that it's funny. They
they
call
are.
us angry, but it's always them. And when in my videos or a lot of MGTOW, yeah, there's some angry people. But the thing about it is, I don't look at a MGTOW video and think and see that as a person whining. I looked at it as a video at one of those videos. I see that as a person venting, and it's
Yeah,
healthy to vent.
it's health. That's what we do. This is like cognitive therapy for us. You get it out. Where else can you talk to a bunch of men about problems that people don't want you to talk about? And yeah, yeah, you get to get that out, and it is a great cognitive. I just bought a book too, and that's one of the ones I want to read. As I bought two books on advancing cognitive therapy into the MGTOW program, and but it's a great cognitive therapy program where we could talk through our problems and come to great realizations about our strength And you know, our you gotta, but there's things, you know, I'm not very, you know, I'm ashamed of, and about my past, and I can get through those things and forgive myself, forgive myself.
Yeah.
Great program, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really great, to be here, and I'm happy I found it. I mean, I often have to tell people all the time, we don't recruit. People just show up,
They
and then
show
we.
up. Yeah. You're never gonna have a. That's great too, because you're never gonna have a shortage of new guys. You know, you might interesting people, and start looking at the positives in that thing. It's going to always be interesting. I was listening to your latest one when you're talking the other day. You seen me in the chat, and yeah, those guys are interesting, and they're fun, and they're you know, it's like,
Oh yeah, the live stream and everything.
yeah, the live stream.
Yeah, that stream got so it was so on fire, man. I couldn't even keep it on YouTube. I had to bump that over to
You have to bump it
to
over.
Odyssey.
Yeah, you got to go back and you think, man, we said some stuff that was pretty out there, and I know it's going to get taken down eventually.
Yeah, that's why I just moved it. That's
Yeah,
why I moved it straight to Odyssey. Kind of
yeah.
think of it. I'll put that in the description for everybody because that video.
That's a great example of cognitive therapy, where each guy had his own unique situation, and we can't see into each other's brains. It's like you just got to figure it out, and he had this idea, and then this guy had. But isn't it great that we get along, and we have our unique perspectives on these things, and we just need to get that out and say it, you know.
Yeah, and it feels great just to get that out of our system. I mean, even if we can't change the world, at least we can see what's going on and better, defend ourselves. And
Did you
MGTOW.
ever catch yeah, I have over in my MGTOW career, I've caught several points where we're talking and we're talking and talking, and then I catch a guy getting something, like he said something and it made so much sense to him, and he's taking that in now, and it's like you can tell that he just, this helped him so much, and now he's got the answer to that thing that he was and we cover all those things. We'll take a simple topic like we got today, and we'll go over it, and just kind of, it's like beating a rug out, you know. It's like and then at a certain point, someone you can actually see someone grow right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to some of these guys, including the ones that still want to go out there and date and everything, and it's actually kind of surprising because I know a few of them have subbed to me. I talked to one guy, he's like, "Well, I agree with everything you're saying, but I still want to go out there." And I told him, "Well, that's your choice. I mean, I said, the only thing I'm doing is warning you about what can happen. Just, be safe, practice safe sex. And if you're going to go out there, preferably avoid the Western women, and go out there and find what you're looking for. At the end of the day, you have to be comfortable in the morning when you wake up.
Right.
And if you're not comfortable by yourself, you'll never be comfortable with somebody else.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
gonna
the
enrich your
thing.
life like that.
And if you can't spend 20 minutes at home with yourself, just kind of meditating on the day, you're still lost. And you should be really comfortable. They say it all the time. You got to live within this skin.
Yeah, I mean, I notice there are a lot of men that date out of loneliness, and I don't know if I've ever. Well, I maybe did that a few times after the first two long-term relationships fell through. I mean, I had a phase where I was dating purely out of loneliness, and it was
Right.
funny. I told some guy something about a week ago, and he came back and was like, "Oh, thanks for the advice," and I think I'm just gonna sort myself out and figure myself out before I even think about jumping back into that. And it
Yeah.
was actually kind of funny. What I told him clicked for him, but also
It
clicked
clicked.
for me
Yeah.
because
You got something.
I,
He got something. And yeah.
yeah, I mean, I had that conversation, and it was kind of funny. It was like I helped him slash help myself. So, like, MGTOW is therapeutic, and it's quite
Totally.
funny that so many people hate it. I mean,
Yeah.
what they never offer any alternatives to the people that don't like MGTOW. What are your alternatives? Is
What's your
it,
alternative? Just doing what everybody says.
you know? they never offer any kind of rebuttal either. They hate what we do, but they can't tell us another way. I mean, I'm very open to suggestions. I mean,
Good.
I've gone to temple. I've met nomads. I've met Buddhists.
Mhm.
I secluded myself for a long period of time. Man, I used to read about like when my faith was just destroyed after I had a lot of death and the
Yeah,
family and everything
it can be
and
pain sometimes.
and and I had like a ex that didn't quite make it and stuff like that. It's just like all that shit. Like I experienced like a lot of struggle and a lot of death, and so I had to. It destroyed my general belief because when you're sitting there praying to God, like
Right.
I want things to get better, I want things to get better, and they're not, and things are just getting bad. I mean, it's just hell. I worry about the life of my parents because my parents are still around. They're old, and so I gotta. That's another thing to worry about, and so religion at the time wasn't doing much for me. So it was funny. I went from being Roman Catholic to a very pissed off atheist to a calm agnostic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember the
went from
poem that I used to do, and it told about that moment where, I was, where I seen that, and I'll do that poem again one of these days for the benefit of the guys, and how I felt about that, and me and John the other had a common agreement about one thing. It's like for the guys that are still dating and everything, and still trying to do that, the best thing in the whole world to do it if you're a MGTOW and you're starting to see this stuff is end a relationship on your own terms. It's just end it the way just the way you want it to end, and that gives you closure on that whole thing. And once
yeah,
you, yeah, the biggest thing about women and that thing is you never seem to get closure. It's always this, it's always that, and you're always searching. And you're always once you have that one thing where you took agency in your life and you ended it on your own terms. Like for me, it was like me and she was a beautiful girl, and we drove up in the driveway, and I just kind of had that feeling. I says, you know what, this isn't working. And we kind of agreed, and then that was it. It was the perfect ending. It was easy on my mind, and that ease let me go abstinent for a while, and then I seen, wow, the world's opening up, and I'm thinking more clearly, and everything was easy then because there wasn't that. The worst thing in the world to come into MGTOW is ending on a bad relationship where that is still permeating every thought of your life. So maybe in some ways these guys are looking for that perfect closure, and
yeah. I had to have that moment as well where I had to find a sense of closure because when you're
yeah,
very angry and very pissed off, you come to very dark conclusions that may or
yeah,
may not even be the case, but it's just at the time you need something to cling on to hate.
yeah, yeah.
And it can just be the very thing that keeps you going, everything. So it was
Right.
actually
It's the
kind of
very
funny.
thing that it brings you back to that trying to fix that. Men want to fix things, and they want these things to, it's the lie always that you can't figure it out. You can't figure it out, and you want to, well, go back and I'll do it again. And you know what they say in AA about crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting
Yeah,
different results.
yeah, it's a definition of insanity, man.
Yes,
And
yeah, you're
it was,
insane. You're doing that over. That's the PUA. They're insane. They're reciprocating. They're doing it over and over and over again, expecting it to turn out differently. And
yeah, and I was talking to a family friend of mine. He's old now, but he helped. I guess he was kind of like a mentor. He helped me out when I was going through, and it's good to have mentors. I mean, because without
yeah,
him, I honestly think I would have grown up to be Dio Brando or some evil anime character or something if he wasn't if he wasn't around. But he kind of, he
yeah,
helped me gain a sense of humility, and he would listen to me whenever I was pissed off. He wouldn't even say anything. He just listened to me and then offer his insight or opinion as to everything. I mean, the first day I was pissed off, he had asked me, "Okay, I heard you and everything. Why do you feel that way? Why do you think you feel that way? Is it important now?" These are the kind of questions he would ask me. Do you
right,
feel
yeah,
like it's made that great of an impact? And if so, what are you going to do about it?
yeah. What are you going to do about that? Put an action in your life and start fixing those things. And SFM used to have a great story about when he was younger and he was just he walked to one of his neighbor's house, and the neighbor he would just stare at him, and the guy was fixing a lawnmower or something. And he says, "Can you teach me how to do that?" And it had a big impact on his life, like just from mentoring. They probably talked, and he learned something. And sometimes you keep yourself open for just taking in that. A lot of younger kids I notice nowadays, they have such resentment for the older people. But you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to be a little bit humble and ask, and can you show me how to fix that lawnmower? Can you show me how to fix your bike? What does this guy got to offer? And that's where you truly take in a mentor figure in your life. And I've had a lot of them in my life. Some really strange, like, why does this guy even deal with me?
Yeah, I look back and I think on that. I'm happy that they took the time to even give a shit because they didn't have to.
Yeah,
They
now
really
you
didn't.
can do that too. That's important. You can teach some young man, or like we talked about that one day. It's like the kids come around, they want to mow the grass. Yeah, I got an extra 20, mow the grass, and then
I
talk
do.
to them and ask them what are those needs that you're out mowing grass for? What do you want out of this? And
I
find out a
do.
little about him.
I do the same for my god kids and everything because it's strange how I think it's strange. I think back to this story. Like, if I had been hanging out with his dad when I was younger, I most likely would not be here because his dad did a lot of messed up stuff. But when I was a kid, I didn't really think about it. Dude was just reckless. If I had been with him, I probably wouldn't have been alive either. And so it's an odd situation, but I try to you know, teach him best I can. Not from a godfather's perspective, but I guess somewhat as an older brother or whatever
Yeah,
you want to label it. To
yeah,
say,
you
hey,
can do
don't.
that now and share your strength, and what you know now. Give back freely what was given to you. And yeah, we always go, a lot of those guys were simps and they gave me bullshit. But so there was, if you think back in your life, all of us can think of that one guy he was the good male mentor. And his sort of, I have one now. He's 74, and he's like my male mentor. He gives me clarity sometimes, and that's really important for men.
I think so too. I mean, we need those positive reinforcements because when all you know is anger and negativity, it
Right.
leads you to make very bad decisions. Sometimes irreversible shit. If any,
Irreversible shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to have a guy sometimes say, "What the fuck you thinking?" He cares. That what the fuck you thinking sometimes is, at least this guy cares about me not doing something wrong, or it's like that's a good thing to have. But that takes me being mature enough to be like not so cocky that I accept it. I accept what are what do you call that? The
it's a sense of humility, and that's
something
what
criticism, the
constructive criticism.
constructive criticism. It's like he's not doing it to me. He's yeah. Most of the boys now, because they've been raised by baby mamas and everything, they can't take that constructive criticism.
Yeah, they grew a sense of arrogance,
Yeah,
narcissism laced with antisocial behavior, and so it
yeah,
doesn't really surprise me that like a lot of these children are lost, and they're lucky if they ever get found, man, because when a person reaches their 30s, as you said, we become set in our ways. That's a good thing, and it acts as a double-edged sword too. Because I'm not saying people are incapable of change. It's just it's harder to change a messed up older person than it is to change a messed up younger person.
yeah. At least, yeah, you can. It gets hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah,
But that's sometimes I find that not to be true. You can keep your mind open, keep a liberal attitude, listen. But that's what old people sometimes they lose. They lose that I know everything. It's like, no, we don't all. You have to have you have to be a little bit humble to realize I wasn't imparted in this life with the knowledge of the universe. I have to learn that, and it'll be a road. I mean, I wish, man.
This is why I'm always learning, and I know I'm going to be learning up until the day I die and everything.
Yeah,
Learning never stops.
it never stops.
it's not like I've reached there's no cap point for that. And it's just, and I've become comfortable with what I know and what I don't know. And anything I don't know, I'll,
Yeah,
read about it or learn about it if it piques my interest. And there's just not enough time to learn and experience everything, and that's a good thing. I mean, the person shouldn't want
well,
to know and experience everything, because if you do that, you just end up with nothing. You won't be able to dream anymore about
right.
anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. I still have, I still have dreams of things that physically I can't do anymore. But man, I wish, and I might better, just keep a healthy spirit about those things yet. And hey, maybe someday, I don't know. I don't know what the future is. I'm not a magic prognosticator of what the future is going to bring, you know. And but I can structure my life now. And MGTOW does that. He helps you structure your life in the moment, so your future has a little more. There's a little more clearness in your future.
That's true, and I often believe people are becoming who they who they ultimately are gonna be, but that's something they have to carve and choose themselves. And it's just kind of funny when I go. You go online, some of these other places, people go, "Oh, pay me X amount of money. I can sell you enlightenment. I can make you whole, or you just need to date these type of women, or get this kind of body." And after a while, it gets kind of played
Oh,
out. You
that
know,
we that those idioms, those like, that they give these idioms over and over in the wrong situations, and it's like, just get a girl, just do this, and it's like they're so vacant sometimes. It's like, man, I hate those idioms, those standard idioms that people give sometimes. JK's in the room. I was for JK. I was watching what's his name, Jeff Bezos fly into the atmosphere, and I started thinking about JK and the Starship Enterprise with Steve with Bakula as the captain, and that stupid song that they play got in my head. They're not gonna hold me down, and I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. Like when Bezos went to space today. I was like, I thought JK would find that funny because he doesn't like Bezos, and he doesn't like Starship Enterprises too.
one of these days, JK, I'm gonna send you one of those really long messages. It's this one I'm gonna sing. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it anymore.
Oh God, I think of that song, that '70s sort of. It was the '80s love ballad, rock and roll love ballad. Uh, what was it called that they did for that Starship Enterprise? It's like, if you're gonna watch a Starship, just skip past that, because that's gonna make you crazy. That song. But I was thinking about JK today, and that it's like, what is his name? Bakula. He was probably the worst captain.
Scott Bakula? Is that
Scott Bakula, yeah.
Quantum Leap or no? Are you talking about Quantum Leap? Or?
Yeah, he was in Quantum Leap too, and
Yeah.
he was like Starship Enterprise with
Yeah.
the Vulcan lady. I can't remember her name, and Trip, and I think that was like the beginning of where the strong girl thing started. With that, it's like it was 1994 or something. Scott B. It's been a long road. See, I can't get it out of my head.
I had all those Elton John songs going through my head when I was driving cross country. It was
Elton John's great, isn't
Sacrifice. What's that? What was that song? Sacrifice or something?
he? Yeah.
It's no sacrifice. I'm like, oh man, I couldn't get the song out of my head.
Yeah, someone saved my life tonight. That's my
Yeah, someone saved my life. That's no. There's no one that he says like sacrifice. It's no sacrifice or something. And it reminds me of like women. How like they just don't like they ain't sacrificing shit, man. It's like they want what they want, and they could care less about your well being.
Yeah,
They don't make any sacrifices. They could care
you
less.
noticed that. Prima donna, baby, you
Yep.
should have been there, sitting on your throne on your electric chair, and just one more beer, and I
Yeah.
don't hear you anymore.
Yeah, he's a MGTOW pretty much.
We've all been there. Like if she says one more fucking word,
he's a he does what he does. His personal life is his business, but he's kind of a MGTOW. He has a MGTOW attitude for sure.
yeah, that MGTOW attitude at that point.
Yeah. He's no dummy.
Yeah, open yourself up to music and what they were saying. Sometimes it's meaningful.
Yeah. Almost had your hooks in me.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Almost had your hooks in me. Oh my god, wow, that's pretty sick, dude.
Roped and tied.
Yeah. You got it, man. That's just that bait and switch, man. Like I told you that we talk about it, but it needs to be repeated. The bait and switch. It's
the bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yellow Brick Road was pretty good there too.
That really needs to be called out. I remember I was on a stream and I was drinking a little bit, and first I thought I drank a little too much because it just seemed like everybody wasn't getting it in this one stream I was in, and some guy said, "What do you mean women are socially awkward?" Then he was trying to decipher what I meant. I said, "Women are socially awkward."
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't an insult or anything. I'm just saying they are. Society allows them to be this way, and then. And I immediately had people say, well, I've met some pretty socially competent women. It had nothing to do with competence. I just said, on average, they are socially awkward. They say things that, if you reverse the genders, it'd be very weird to say. Hell, it'd be weird if a man said that to another man. But they're allowed to get away with this because of that. And they had no idea that was kind of my own little shit test I was throwing out there, which all of them failed pretty much. And even the one chick that was up in there is gonna say, well, we know that it's like manipulation. I'm like, yeah, then it shouldn't be an issue to call it out. Was I being nitpicky? Yes, but it was for a reason. Even when I'm joking or BS, and I'm just trying to pick people's brains and see where they're at and everything, and I just don't like and I figured out part of that was on my end too, because I don't like the word game. And I didn't know that I didn't like the word game up until that point, because I when I'm talking to people or trying to do something, I don't consider my life like a game in that way. Kind of like how someone told me, well, when you go hunting or whatever, let's say you don't catch anything, or rather you catch something, you're good at hunting, you're good at the hunting game or whatever. And I said, yeah, I get what you mean, but I hate the term game in that type of scenario, because if you don't catch anything, you don't eat. So it's not a game anymore.
Woman either.
Yeah, game and women, like, it's just that term game needs to just go away. I mean, back then,
right? Yeah.
Back then, if you were good at talking to people or something, people just say, "Oh, he's very skillful, or he's very charismatic." I like the word charismatic far more than the word game, because game denotes that it's something that shouldn't be taken seriously. At all.
Yeah, gaming a woman. My buddy used to say something all the time. He says, she'll let you chase her until she catches you. You're not gaming that.
It's just that's the thing behind it. It's just funny. I mean, but yeah, I stand by that. People can feel free to disagree, but I stand by that. I mean, women are pretty socially awkward, and sometimes I realize that some of what I say. I mean, I've had people tell me, "Oh, I don't like the tone, like his voice." Now he says he's a downer. He sounds monotone, depressing. Well, I'm thinking, well, damn, well, that's just the way I say it. And I realized something. There are, I'm not saying all, but there's people out there that they want you to be like the court jester when it comes to delivering horrific information. But when it comes to the serious stuff, they want you to be the opposite.
Right.
And that's just kind of backwards to me. If anything, if I'm going to give, I mean, yeah, you can soften the blow a little bit, but you can't sugarcoat everything, you know? I don't know why. I don't know how anybody like can live like that, but it's what's so heavily promoted in society, and this is why I'm always talking about, yeah, we can change universities, change the laws, all these, that stuff's fixable, but we need a cultural reform that takes time.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't live long enough to see it. If anything, I'd probably be like a 92-year-old man. If anything, by the time I see it, and people think that they could just change an entire culture or way of thinking overnight. You just can't,
No,
because
not
even
gonna.
if you, because even if anybody
So
in here,
frustrating with the MRA is, it was. I came in here when I was in my late 30s, early 40s, and man, I've watched so much, and it's frustrating that nothing's gotten changed in 40 years, and it's it's going to take time, and we got to keep it up, and that's why all these guys are important here. The younger guys, they get it. You're going to be the future.
yeah, that's what I was telling everybody. I mean, I'm in my 30s, but I've talked to the teen MGTOW, and I'm telling them like, okay, when I get old and everything like that, it's going to be up to them. And then after
Yeah.
them, up to the people. I'm like, we have to.
Whatever you share with the and keep it going. We got to keep this thing going, because it's not going to be like we're not going to wake up and see in the paper tomorrow that marriage is stupid. And the government's just going to be like, yeah, we were always wrong about that. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's important.
Yeah, in the big head in big black letters is women find responsibility. It's like, yeah, no, but that's we're as a race, and that's if we're talking about it as a race, we're evolving, we're maturing, we are getting better, and men have to grow up too, and it's going to take a long time. And I think MGTOWs are ahead of the game. It gives you kind of a look into the future, like what a perfect society. And I know a lot of guys are against that perfect society again, because we've had failures in the past. But a MGTOW society is, man, about the closest thing I can think of a perfect society where,
I agree. I mean, because sometimes when I see these guys, they're trying to come up with 1,000 ways back to the, plantation, and I
yeah,
tell these guys it's dangerous to have a foot in 1 foot in freedom and 1 foot in plantation. I mean, you're gonna have to pick one at some point in time. Either you want to be free or stagnant, or whatever. The thing about it is, as long as they make that choice, I don't hate my friends for dating or getting married or whatever, just so long as they acknowledge that that is their choice. So when whatever happens, they take ownership of it. That I don't want them coming back and say, well, nobody told me. No,
right.
tons of people told them. We warned them. I wish everybody the best. I mean, like if it works out for
Yeah,
them,
if it works out,
great.
it's great.
You know,
There is that 5 or 8% that work out, and man, I all the respect for those people. If you could do that for your whole life, and you really truly found that one, but there's the other 92% that I belong to. That it's just me in a house with a woman. That's a bad idea.
yeah.
I think you're being generous, Joe. I think it's probably higher than that, like
Yeah,
probably
I'm just
98%, 99%.
yeah. Nowadays, it just keeps going up. And
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, like, if some dude's comfortable living that life, then fine. So long as they don't come back crying, nobody warned
right,
them. I
yeah,
mean,
just don't
these
say I
videos,
didn't warn you.
yeah, these videos are the warning. I mean,
I
my
won't go
grandparents,
out. I swear I'll be there to help, and I won't go out. But don't tell me no one said nothing to you. It's like
exactly. I tell
it's
them the
not.
door is always open. I mean, I've had friends, come and go, and one friend, he had to go through 3 damn marriages before he finally realized, maybe this is a bad idea. I was like, really? that just dawned on you. It's a bad idea.
Yeah,
Like I told him,
yeah. The guy that
you'll
was just
warn.
sober, he was knocking on my window before. He's getting married and he's happy about it. Well, try it. I'm not gonna be that wet blanket on. It's like that's not my thing in life. I will tell you, there's certain things to watch out for, and he knows. I've told him 100,000 times before, and he lived here at a point. One of the males that were going through, and now he fixed his life. At least took a lot of, he took in a lot of the MGTOW stuff when he fixed his life, and as for that, maybe possibility. I don't know. I can't tell the future, but
I can.
yeah, we can, but
I
not my place
was just
to.
saying, when's he gonna come in with the high guys? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he will, but chances are he will. But I don't want that to happen to anybody. I mean, that's so painful, and when they finally get it, and it's like so pain. I know the pain that men go through. I went through that pain, and when I realized that the whole marriage and cohabitating thing was absurd, but we got to have empathy, and I'm not going to lose his friendship, as I enjoy his friendship. He's young, vibrant, 30-year-old, good-looking guy. I enjoy being around him.
That's a good thing, man. I try to be open minded, and when I listen, it's actually kind of funny. When I talk to those kinds of friends and they tell me how happy they are in a relationship, I always make a mental note of it. So the
Yeah.
next time they come back and start talking to me, I tell them, well, on this day, you told me this, or what happened, and I don't do that to be condescending or
Oh,
sarcastic. I do that to kind of show them
right.
the stages that they're going through, because oftentimes when these guys get in these relationships, I get that they're happy, and I'm not going to be that guy to tell people they don't have a right to be happy or whatever the hell they're
Right.
doing. The thing about it is they get caught up on the good, the feel good drug, and then they want
Yeah,
to.
the feel-good drug. That's where he's at right now, and that's a lovely place to be. Can't say that's not. Uh, we're all there, and you know how powerful that is. And but like all addiction, and there's a crash.
Yeah,
that's when that's when the rubber hits the road, and you realize, whew, this thing's hard. But hey, I'll just give positive, good advice. And the MGTOW advice sometimes for a married man too. You can do a lot of help in situations where they're thinking wrong, and they're thinking, and they're going to go make that mistake. And you might say something that he doesn't make that mistake, and it actually assists in his marriage. And you're like, oh yeah, I didn't see that, And it's like, okay, yeah, because we've gone through all these things, and I was like, maybe they'll take a few things that really will help. And that's what you can hope for, being, you know, you know,
yeah, because with some guys, it's very difficult. People often get on me like, dude, you don't bother red pilling teenagers. Oh heck no.
no, yeah.
I mean,
So that's called harm reduction. When you can reduce the harm to him by some of your stuff, that's all you can hope for. Is you just do a good positive program of harm reduction. It's like you know, it's like telling someone, a friend's got an addiction to heroin or something, and he's like, okay, I'm going to get you some clean needles, so you don't get AIDS or hepatitis or anything. You know it's wrong, but you can reduce the amount of harm that's done. It's like saying we do that all the time when we say use a condom, don't go bareback. You're doing harm reduction then. There's a lot of little things that MGTOWs can assist where the harm is not so great at the end.
yeah, that's really all we can do is just warn them. Because I told a friend of mine, he's like, well, why didn't you tell that kid when you got a kid, he's messing up? I was like, well, because if you try to directly tell them that, they're gonna do the opposite anyway, and not to
Right.
mention around that age, rage and hormones and whatnot.
We could try to
he
prove
need,
it wrong.
exactly. And I told him he's gonna go out there and screw. The only thing I could say is just be safe.
Be safe, right?
That's all I can really tell him. And because everyone has their own journey to make, everyone gets to where they want to be. And I know it's like a thing. I know it's a lot of us older guys do this. We want to be able, like, we wish we could move them to the front of the line, but
Yeah,
you can't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it,
you
drink.
can.
And so they have to walk their own path to make it to the lake. We didn't all take the same path to make it to the lake that we all drink from and everything. And hopefully they find it.
Right. Yeah, you can. With if you just put how the bacteria and chemicals work, if you don't know that, make sure you fill that in on them, and he might go no and reject it, but you can't undo what you hear with the MGTOW. Sometimes it's like when he starts simping, he'll understand why he's simping, and maybe he'll take a positive step in reducing the bacteria or not putting that in his mouth, something simple like that. And realizing that women are estrogen factories, women are little oxytocin factories. You're being drugged. Stuff like that could change his life. And if he recognizes and he doesn't simp and he stands up for himself when financial matters or something, and he stands up and says no, that MGTOW no. It's like maybe that'll help them down the road. It's just a little bit of harm reduction, and we can all do that. We can all have empathy.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel bad for the guys that go down that path. I mean, we were all simps once at one point in life.
Yeah,
It's the fact that when only that pisses me off is when we give them the information, they tell us we're wrong. They can't even tell us
right.
how. That's why
Right. It's that
that's why,
ignorance is bliss
that's,
thing.
that's why me and Ask Nathaniel freaking hated each other. It wasn't just me and him. Like he went around, trying to get all the like Manosphere guys in his channel, like put it, open the door, put out party favors, metaphorically, so to speak. And then he got in
Yeah.
there and tried to shame them like a woman or something. That's why I
Oh,
got that angry at him. He put our tags in there. I walked up in there, I was more than friendly and anything, and then he just kind of used it to shame me and everybody else like a woman would or something.
yeah.
And what
That's the
made me angry.
way that they do. Yeah.
And the thing that made me even the most angry wasn't all the insults that he was lobbing at me. What pissed me off the most is how he said, "Oh, I watched all these MGTOW videos and I learned nothing."
Yeah. How could you watch well, there are some really bad information a lot of MGTOWs give out, and those are supposed MGTOWs. But
I mean,
if you watch a numerous amount of MGTOW videos, there's going to be stuff in there that's going to be good for you to do. And,
that's what makes me believe he didn't watch any of them. Main dude thought he was hurting
right.
me by saying he unsubbed me. He never watched any of my content. He even said he'd never be caught on a
He,
on a MGTOW channel.
he shows up on the scene and he knows everything. It's like I've watched all these MGTOW, but no, man, I don't think you got it.
I mean, anytime somebody pulling up the Wikipedia definition of MGTOW, they already
Yeah,
lost to begin
they're
with.
lost. Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, what do you think Wikipedia is going to say about it? Wikipedia doesn't do a bad job. What is that other one?
the
I
four
can't.
levels or something.
Yeah, there's I can't remember the other one. I don't even look at it no more because it
Yeah,
just if you want someone to write that stuff, at least have a MGTOW
yeah,
write it.
exactly. At least have one of us write it. We could write hell of a lot better.
Yeah,
I just hate it when someone, they call you and they say, "Hey, explain this to me." You explain it, and while you're explaining that to them, they pull up a Wikipedia. I mean, that's like a slap in the freaking face. Pull up a
yeah,
Wikipedia, ask me if I've been molested. Just, I mean, I felt like a total waste of time. He was right. My words were worthless. And anytime you can talk for several hours and have somebody, sleeping in the back and being a van boy or whatever, it's just how it is. But it isn't just him I'm mad at.
yeah,
You got people throwing out false information and a bunch of other stuff, and we have to be very careful of these kind of guys. I mean, I had a small issue with Mr. Research, and that's why I avoid that dude. I mean, trying to like I tell people all the time, if you're not a MGTOW, please do not educate a MGTOW or virtually anybody else on our
Right.
history. Believe me, we know what it is already.
Yeah,
The,
that was
the,
it. The MGTOW thing, the really negative one was written by we used to slay mammoths, which was, I can't remember his name, but that guy ended up, I don't even think Wikipedia knows it. That guy ended up being a pedophile.
yeah.
So it's like, but they won't take it down. They'll still go with that. But I don't think they know that, and someone should inform them.
Someone freaking needs to, man, because it's just often kind of funny how I know I'm not a popular channel. I mean, shit, I'm probably like shadow banned or whatever anyway.
Yeah, you're shadow banned.
Yeah, that's why I just throw my little odyssey out there every now and then in hopes to get a few people to watch my content. But I laugh because, dude, I've had like people like that will come up to me and say, "Oh, well, this isn't what this MGTOW said or what that MGTOW said, and did you hear what some?" And I'm laughing because they're trying to use other MGTOWs as a reference. And what's funny about this is these are dudes I talk to every day.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's like somebody watches your video and then they hop on my channel and go, "Do you know about such and such channel?" "Yeah, I know about such and such channel." I'm like, "Well, he didn't like he didn't say that." Or so I'm thinking, and then my back of my mind, I'm thinking, I'm like, idiot, I can talk to this person at any point in time and confirm in
Yeah.
fact what this troll is saying is a freaking lie. But this is what they do. They cause problems.
Yeah.
This is why I know they love the Matrix.
They almost want you to apologize for being a MGTOW, and they put you in a position where it's about the women, it's about it's MGTOW's about me, it's about men, and they put you in a position where you're going to become apologetic. It's like, no,
That's the thing, they lump
cringe at
everyone
that
together. They lump everyone together as a group, and then they
right.
want you to explain the entirety of MGTOW while at the same time explaining your personal beliefs and everything like that. And that's how they try to trap people. If your personal belief deviates even slightly, they act like they have some magic aha
The
gotcha
gotcha
moment.
moment. Aha, gotcha. Yeah, Barbarossa did one of his last videos where he's just sick of the gotcha moment.
Yeah, I laugh at them, man. They don't talk to any of us, and nor these idiots know that we most a lot of us MGTOW, we communicate with each other every now and then. We know who is like who is fake or a plan. We
Yeah,
know who they freaking are, and they know who they are. And so I don't like when people come up here trying to cause division.
yeah,
No
that's one of
PUA.
the telltale signs. A guy come around and he goes, "Man, I hate that Trav." Did you? It's like, no, not knowing that you talk to me, and it's like because I'm a better MGTOW than him. It's always that one-upmanship. It's like, yeah, of course, these guys come around. They want everybody to listen to them like they're the next Neo, and they're not. It's like, but some of these guys, they think they're the next Neo. And as far as I'm concerned, there's been very few Neos in MGTOW. Maybe Barbarossa was one, and Stardust was one at a time, and Man Woman Myth was that Neo at that time. They're very short on it, but everybody wants to be that guy. Where whatever they're, and what's that when they think they're smarter than they are.
The Dunning-Kruger
The
effect,
Dunning-Kruger effect, and you can see
they
that just oozing. They extend themselves to the meme.
They try to put us in a box and we break out of it every time. I tell people all
Yeah,
the time, they're MGTOW from every background, every walk of life. You can't possibly expect one person to explain all of that in 5 minutes. I mean, we can explain the tenants, sure, but try to explain all of that. It's a thing, and this is how I know that when people do that, they're not here to help men. They're here to hurt men
hurt me.
because of their own self hatred and everything else. Whenever time I hear the term "boss up, man up," I laugh because it's a failure to take agency, and it's saying I need to be in a relationship in order to feel like a human being. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I hear every
Oh
time
God. Yeah.
I hear that crap, and
Yeah.
I can't even watch videos like that anymore because I close my eyes and all I hear is like when it comes, at least with like a Daniel and his merry band of weirdos, all I hear is a bunch of scared children desperately like trying to coast their way through life. And it's sad because if he was young I forgive it, but he's 42 doing this.
42.
That's
It gets harder when some old guy says some simpish shit. It's like,
yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't even freaking believe it. I mean, him and a lot of his friends are in their 40s, and they're talking about the joys of dating like 20-year-old women and younger. And then they got mad when I called him out for, I called him Van Boy and his married band of pedos. I mean, damn, it's just the whole thing about this is,
Yeah, that one guy was doing it the other day, and there's get the girls, and then I could just see you cringing when he was saying it, but you let him go, and it's like I can't remember his name, which guy that was, and you were positive and gave him you did a really good job in that to hold back.
oh, I forgot his name. I think it was like Fernand, that guy with he had a weird name, a weird spelled
But
name,
yeah,
but
you could tell in his voice that he wasn't very well spoken, and his you can pretty much gauge his IQ. He wasn't, you had to give him a break.
yeah, because he came in. Yeah, he came in one time talking about like, aren't you guys talking about getting pussy or whatever? And I
Yeah,
could tell he didn't listen to any of the video up
is
until
there
that
a
point.
word fly by?
And because he got mad, he's like, you guys are complaining about women and you're not. It's not productive. And why don't you guys talk about men's health? And the scary part about it is we were talking about men's health for almost 35
And
minutes. So
yeah,
he
that's the one thing that they kind of put us in the box and everything. Like we weren't talking about women. We were talking about ourselves until you came in and started talking about women. It's
That was the thing, he said we never talk about anything else other than women. We talked about women for 5 minutes, and the moment he heard one thing, and this is how a lot of simps operate. The moment they hear an ounce of criticism about women,
right.
they will block out anything else that comes after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and there's a difference between talking about women like they do and giving scientific facts like we do. We're not talking about women. We're talking about how that applies to our lives. And we're more talking about ourselves. And there's a big difference. I can't remember what they call it in AP press. Knowing of something isn't the same as knowing about something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, to the ones that moonlight MGTOW and they like the one person I want to drop out there, but he's not even worth the fight. But we kind of know who the bastard is. I'm just because he's really big out there. And I had a friend, you
Yeah,
know,
populism isn't there's more, it,
yeah,
I know it, and every MGTOW knows it, that there's 95% simps out there, and you can always get a bigger simp audience.
and that's what kind of
But you
gets
have
me. I
to
mean,
do that. You have to start saying things that aren't right, and it's you to get that audience, you have to say things they want to hear.
and that's the thing. They remind me of Scarecrow from Batman. Batman and Robin dragging him in, and he's just screaming, "Worship me, fools! Worship me! I am the Lord of the Night." It's just that's how they're like the alpha chats on the internet or something. I don't know why these people do this shit, but they'll talk about, oh, I make better content than that Black Wolf guy over there, and why are people listening to him? And I got on a dude for that. And he's like, where's your credibility? I wrote a book. Did you write a book? I'm like, no. And he kept asking me, what's my credibility? What's my credibility? I let him talk, and I said, hey, you see that description box down there? Yeah. You see that you see a PayPal or Cash App or anything like that? He said no. I said exactly. That's my credibility.
Yeah, yeah.
I earn nothing.
There's a certain truth in you're doing the right thing as a MGTOW when you're pissing more people off.
Oh yeah, because
You're
we don't
saying
even
things
try.
are true. We had me and my buddy did this when we were younger. I think I was 18, 19 years old, and we had promised ourselves that we're going to stop lying. It's like what I was saying earlier about when you walk into a store and say, "How you doing?" and the natural response for a person is, "Oh, everything's great," and everything's not great. And we made a pact with each other that we're just going to tell the absolute truth on things for a year. We pissed off a lot of people.
We really did, man. Like we really freaking did, and it's just really funny. It doesn't matter how polite or how calm we are. There are people that will still try to do this. I've had people try to get an emotional. You okay, bro?
Yeah, I had to bend over to get that
Oh.
stretched out too far. I dropped my mouse.
Oh. Hopefully the mouse still works and everything, you know. But,
That
but
was a
hell,
little
they.
awkward position to get it.
Yeah, sometimes I pull
No, the
some
truth
shit
is hard, and we all know the truth is hard, and that's what pisses them off sometimes is the truth.
because they
And
don't want to accept it.
yeah,
They'd rather try to
that's
get an
the same
emotional
thing that's
rise.
going to make you unpopular. 95% of these guys aren't MGTOWs, and uh, yeah, you can say, "Yo, dating is great," and you'll get a bigger audience. And it's like that frat boy MGTOW light, uh, crushing beer cans on your head and seeing who can slay the most girls. That's really popular on YouTube. You can get 30,000 fans to agree with you that that's the best thing in life, but that's not MGTOW.
And that's the thing. I get so mad when such guys they purposely try to get an emotional rise out of someone. Then once they got the fight they wanted, then they're
Right,
mad. And my whole thing about it is kind of like that whole shit that happened with anger MGTOW and everything.
right.
If a person wants to lead a mass spirit, do it gracefully. You don't have to take a sword and swing at everybody while going to the exit. If I were gonna ghost or I were gonna
Right.
leave, I'd have enough respect for everybody and myself to just like be straight up about it. I'd either say nothing or I hint at it or make a video about me leaving. But what I wouldn't do is turn around and attack MGTOW because even if someone decides okay, I'm
Oh,
gonna go
we have
talk
a
to the
saying for
country.
that. Yeah, the Nico Chosky angry MGTOW thing. These guys went MGTOW on MGTOW. Like they're running out the door, like "fuck you guys, you're all wrong," and yeah, and they'll be back, or they're going to get to that moment in their life where they realize that they chose the wrong road, but they'll never come back to Hi Guys thing, and or they'll change their name and pretend like there's something different. And I've seen that so many times. It's like I know your voice, man. Weren't you
That's
the guy that was telling me that you had found you're like went MGTOW on MGTOW?
and not to mention these guys don't realize this. They can leave and not be an enemy
Yeah,
to MGTOW. If
you
somebody
can
was
gracefully
MGTOW
exit any situation.
exactly. I mean, if somebody was MGTOW for like 10 years and one day they came up to me and said, "Hey, Black Wolf, I found this girl and I'm gonna be, ghosting off with her and see how it turns out." I can respect that because
Yeah,
I'll appreciate all the work that, the contribution that such a person would put in, and then I'd still be friends with that guy. What makes it impossible to be friends with someone is when they take this mentality of, oh,
right.
because I can't enjoy it anymore, nobody else can, so let me destroy it for
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
else.
You know
That
what I call them? Born again. They're born again. Blue pill. They're like born against non-smokers. They're gonna, if you're a smoker, they're just gonna make your life miserable because they find, they're just born again non-smokers.
yeah, man, it's
Everybody
pretty.
knows. My buddy or the guy that has his first heart attack, and then he's in the room. He was drinking and smoking and running around with the girls all his life, and now he's in the room telling you not to do that. And he's like a born again. It's like evangel. Like, weren't you the guys just like 2 weeks ago, like, standing on the bar sucking two beers? Why, you know, it just cracked me up. There's an instant hypocrisy in that.
Yeah, that's why it's just like man, that they act like they can like they can never come back. I mean, I have more respect for a dude leaving and just saying, okay, I'm doing this now, but I'm like all it would have taken is just a name change. You're like, okay, I'm still gonna talk about red pill content, but this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing, and or whatever. Like I would appreciate that,
Right.
but a lot of them don't do that. They act like because they found their unicorn or whatever hobby they found. Oh, because I don't need it anymore. Let me burn the whole building down. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you gotta
no,
try to
no,
burn
no,
the
what the
building on
hell,
the
you
way
know?
out. That's
That's
wrong.
what pisses me off. And they burn bridges that they can never walk back over. I mean,
Right.
no matter what I do with my life from here on out, I mean, I'll always be thankful to MGTOW. I'm never going to be an enemy to MGTOW
Right.
or anything like that. And in fact, it's like it, when you gain something from, I mean, you take it with you. I mean, I've seen people take the philosophy and do crap that I definitely would not recommend. But hey, they're happy, they got their life. As long as they're not attacking us, then hey, great. But they feel like they have to attack us to
They find their
justify.
way out the door. It's like,
Yeah, and that's the thing. I tell these guys, I met a dude that was like that, and that's why I mentioned this. We were good friends. He never made MGTOW content, but he definitely, used to vocally advocate it like publicly, like way more than me, anybody else. The thing about it is, he finds his unicorn, and then I stopped him when he was trying to sell me on relationships. I was like, up, up, up. You were
up,
like
up.
very MGTOW like
Yeah,
five
respect
years
my
ago.
space.
Yeah, tell them about that. I'm happy for you in your relationship, but don't think just because you got a good relationship that A, it'll always
Yeah,
be that way, and B, even if it is, your good relationship does not change the fact that over 90% of us are getting screwed in every which way.
right. Yeah, yeah,
So you have to
yeah. We laugh
remind them
at that all the time with my blue friends of the real world. Is like, hey, that girl's really looking at you. She likes you and everything. You should tap on that. And it's like, no, please respect that space. I'm not that guy. It's like we get that from guys in here too, and it's like just you know, I respect your thoughts and everything. Please respect mine, the way I live my life. I'm not gonna change just because you want me to.
that. Yeah, and that's why I get mad at
That's
them
what it
because
is. They just want you to change to make themselves more comfortable, and that's selfish.
it's a misery loves company kind of thing, and
Yeah,
some of them don't even realize how feminine that is because well, that's something that women mostly do. They
yeah,
attempt to
women
get
do that.
people to change, whereas with men,
Yeah, you know,
we
it's tell when your buddy's dating because he gets a little bit effeminated, and the estrogen's running through him, and he starts talking like a woman. Thinks he's going to con you into something.
yeah, it's and it's crazy, and it was
Yeah.
I
Now
had to
men can't
explain.
do that because they don't have that one thing to offer. It's like, but it's funny though to think about this dude's. He's acting effeminated, and you know where it came from and how it happened, and but they can't see it. There's a blind spot there.
And I had to sit my friend down. He's probably not going to talk to me again for a long period of time. We were friends for a good 10 years, but he found his little unicorn. Now he's all upset at me, and because he was trying to sell me on relationships or whatever. And while we were drinking, I said, and that's kind of what made me, funny enough, not want to drink anymore for
Yeah,
a long period of time because
because this
I
guy
told
might
him,
con me in some night into, you know, alcohol lowers your inhibition, and you might start thinking wrong. It can easily happen with just the right amount of alcohol and pheromones, and all of a
'cause-
sudden you're not in control no more.
yeah,
Make
because
that
I told
be
him.
totally in control.
I told him I drink to unwind and relax. You're over here telling me about my life would be better if I date so and so, or your girlfriend got a sister or whatever. And I said, that's nice. I'm sure she's very beautiful and everybody loves her, but I'm here just trying to nurse my drink. That's all I'm trying to do. And that just baffled his mind. And then finally, because I was getting kind of mad, like while he was doing this, because the reason he was doing this is because they're a couple and he's trying essentially telling me I'm a third wheel or whatever. I didn't invite her. He invited her,
Yeah,
and that was the thing. So I became a unintentional third wheel in that. So I told him
good.
I'm not bothering her. I'm not even saying anything to her. You two do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm just here drinking. If you don't want to hang out with me, then don't hang out with me, kind of thing. But you
Yeah,
get
I
these
feel like a
guys who
Vulcan sometimes. Like this is becoming uncomfortable for me. These feelings.
yeah, they act like everybody needs to be on the same. Like, well, I can't hang out with a guy that's single or whatever. If I'm not single and he's single, it ruins the ratio. I'm like, what ratio? That's your life. It's your choices. And finally, what made him get up and walk away is because I told him this. I said, okay, are you a vegan? He's like, no, I'm a vegetarian. I said, fine, fine, fine. For this conversation, pretend you're a vegan, and obviously I'm not. I respect the fact that you don't eat meat. Please
Right.
respect the fact that I do, and because that's kind of how that conversation, that conversation went. Because I told them I'm not gonna run up to every vegan shoving a hamburger in their face, going, "You got to try this burger, man." Like I had one, I'm currently eating one. You have to have one too, or you're not normal. And it's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, and I told him, like, if I'm a vegan in this situation, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off that you keep shoving meat in my face,
Yeah. Yeah.
and vice
The
versa.
big headlights are like hypocritical vegans, like telling you like I'm a vegan, but I only eat meat on like Thursdays and Fridays, and
You gotta space it out. This
I'm not
guy.
going to cut that cheese out, and that I just so, but I am the vegan.
Cause,
That's
'cause-
what the lightweight MGTOWs. It's like I'm a MGTOW, but they're saying the same thing. Is like I'm a vegan. I only eat meat on Thursdays.
I got a good one for you, man. His girlfriend got mad at me. She said, "See, I told you your friend was weird. He hates women." And I said, "No, I don't hate women. It's just I'm lactose intolerant to stupid people." I told her women give me gas.
Yeah.
Fart every time they come around.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
some of the stuff you got to make up to just get them off your case, and sometimes it's very it's frustrating sometimes.
It really is, man. It's
To go to an extreme sometimes. I can't remember what. It's like,
Yeah, you got to go with the like. Yeah, I was
whatever.
married. I was married for 20 years. My wife just passed away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. My three
Is
kids
that
are
one of the
living
lies you
overseas.
told?
Yeah, my 3 children are living overseas, and
Yeah, I think I told someone I had AIDS once. It's like, I got AIDS. I got the AIDS. And
oh,
oh fuck!
that's just,
I,
that's
I
just
had
one
this one.
way.
I had this one friend. He was like he was one. This guy was like 160 pounds. He was like the toughest football player I've ever played with. And I was like 220, and I couldn't, I used to, we do hitting battles and I'd win because I had so much weight on. But he was like the toughest kid in our school, in our area, by a long shot. He was just a total badass, 160 pounds. But he had some chick hitting on him, and he told her he was gay. So we always got a kick out of that. He's like the toughest kid in our town. Like I take him in a fight over pretty much anybody.
Oh, that's
And
a good one.
that's how tough he was. He was just that type of guy, 160, tough ass. And yeah, so it was just like kind of a big joke, and so we ran, like it was like a rumor kind of spread pretty big, and but that was a way to get her off her bet, get her
Right?
off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I told my buddy once
That's why.
I'm a trans lesbian. I'm just gay.
That's why I laugh at people, man. I made up so many crazy things just to walk around telling people I'm asexual or sexually
Yeah.
attracted to fire
That's
and
the easiest thing to do is like to just take the asexual route, because the default position of male is asexual anyways. It's like I don't think I'm asexual. I don't think about these. Please respect my rights.
that's
It's
the safest way to go about it, man.
it's the
Last
safest
guy
way to go about it. Yeah, and
last,
what it does is it takes the sexuality out of the everything. Every argument there's going to use has something to do with sexuality. So as soon as you say you're asexual, it's like, please don't offend me. It's like, please, I'm asexual. Just don't. It takes the sex and it puts the conversation in a rational way where they can't use that. And then the apologetics is gone. They can't do that to you. They can't make you apologize for being asexual.
yeah. I mean, they can't shame you for it either. I mean,
Right? They can't shame
last
you for it, and like it takes
la-
the sex. It takes both ends because they're going to come at you from both ends, and it just eliminates both ends.
yeah. I mean, the last dude that tried to fight me over that, he got really mad. He's like, "Oh, he's not there hitting the women. What he gay? What he gay? What he rainbow?" And he got really mad and wanted to fight me just because I told him. I was like, "How do you know, man? I haven't hit on you yet. I mean, is that why you're saying all this stuff to me?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "Well, you seem very concerned about what I do." with my genitalia, so I
Right.
just
Yeah, you
assumed.
said it the other day. Is like when they want to talk about your dick. It's like, we gay. And that's sexuality too. It's like I'm asexual. Remember, I don't talk about my, it's like,
It's. I mean, I think a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of sexually confused, like, well,
right.
especially among women. But a lot of these guys, I mean, because or maybe they're just socially awkward. I don't know what the issue is.
PUAs
But
are always like, man, you guys talk about dick a lot.
yeah, they mention it a lot, man. Like most of the guys who have referred to my dick have been fucking PUAs, and they act like they're
Yeah,
the straightest people of
that's
all
why I
time.
got so mad that one time at Barron's and everybody mistook it. It's like they wanted to talk about and I was like, that's a really uncomfortable subject. I don't talk about that. It's a, I'm a mature man. I will talk about that with that's sort of gay. I said, I was like, are you guys gay?
Flip the script on them,
Yeah,
man.
and they were like all offended by it and everything, like they hadn't done anything wrong. Like, no, I don't talk. I don't let you talk about my. It's like, stop it. That's the one. But they don't get it. That's another flyby. That's that hole in their spectrum of thought that they can't see.
Yeah, I mean they can't see the flaw in their damn logic, and that's what they do. And it's and I told my guy, I warned my god kid about that. I warned him about that. He's like, well, some of these guys have good game or information. You sure you're not just just being like mean about it because you're a monk or whatever? I told him this, and he never asked me again after this. He got quiet, and he just never brought it up again after that. I told him, oh, you know what, man, you're right. Answer me this question. If you can answer me this question, I will gladly agree with you and listen to any PUA. He's like, what's the question? I said, explain to me how or why, or do you truly believe that another dude out there whom you don't know cares about you getting your dick wet?
Yeah. No one should. It's
What do
just
they gain out of that?
they they
He
gain nothing.
couldn't
It's like,
couldn't even give me a reason, like couldn't tell me how, the why. And then he's like, well, because they care about men. And I was like, well, if they cared about men, I mean, why are they leading you off a cliff? I mean, did they ever mention safe sex in there? No, I don't hear PUAs talking about that. Did they ever mention the fact you can accidentally leave a woman pregnant or get beat up? I mean, they don't mention that. I mean, hell, some of them regularly encourage you to go out and find married women to screw them and they
yeah,
get killed by their husbands and stuff.
right. That puts
They
people at risk and
they promote a life of, hedonism,
it's
if
heathen.
anything.
I used to go over to this guy's house once in a while. They put on, and at the end of the night after we watched sporting, he always used to put on porn. And I had to have that conversation with them one night, and they're all married guys, and they're watching porn and everything. And I'd go to the other room, and I would just sit there alone and drink beer. And I said, "What are you gay?" And I said, you guys realize that you're watching another man's dick there? All they do is watch lesbian porn because I don't like to watch another man's dick." And then they all got mad, and it's like, man, that's so uncomfortable. It's like it's certain etiquette should never be violated in this world.
That's
Because
the
these
thing.
are
I
the
mean,
same guys that walk into a party with their aunts and uncles there and go, "Man, did I slam this girl last night?" It's like, shut up, dude. That is overshare.
yeah, I mean, hell, that's freaking TMI and all the other shit. I mean, they that's what I mean about the social awkwardness. I
The
mean,
social awkwardness in
what
that is just maddening.
women are naturally socially awkward because of society, but what these guys do, they choose to be socially awkward. I
They
mean, no one,
choose
no
that.
one let me, nobody let me finish in that stream. They thought I was beating a dead horse to death. I'm thinking, no, I'm saying this to make a point. I mean, I kept repeating it to get them to see that most men choose to be socially awkward in order to mitigate or
Right.
try to match the social awkwardness of women.
Because
And
women think that's cute.
yeah,
It's like, oh man, that's so. When I see it, it looks like simping. It looks like immaturity, and I wish people could see what they look like through a MGTOW's eyes.
so do I. I mean, I wish I could just
Like I
show them
wish I
that
could make a
because
film and show them what they look like, or it's like, man, or you know what, even the point of I wish I could make a film that shows how happy most of us are without, and we fulfill our lives with other things besides that stuff, and how awkward they look and how happy I feel sometimes. Because if I could just show them how happy I feel most of the time in my life, they would go, like, can I get some of that? Yeah, you can get some MGTOW anytime you want.
And that's the thing,
But we're
a
not
lot of
projected in a positive light by anybody in this society. So how are we supposed to get that message out? How they look and how happy we are, and our human condition is like just nice.
and that's why I can't watch like certain streams. I barely
Right.
show up anymore, and certain things I can't watch because it feels like, I mean, yeah, it does feel like beating a dead horse to death. Like, especially when, like, they'll pull up, oh, here's so and so from accounting, or here's so and so. Like, I always have to hear something that I heard a MGTOW already talk about, which is why, like, there's some stuff that, like, when I go to the normies or the non-MGTOW channels, I always I always hear something that we had talked about years ago, and then I
Yeah.
hear it come from somebody else. And when I hear some dude talking, on one of the normie channels, it's like they made some amazing discovery.
Yeah.
So, like, we've been known it was like that.
Or they
So,
try to twist it just a little to make it fill their. It's like, ooh, that's creepy. We were talking about creepiness today.
that's and that's the thing. I mean, it's just there's a lot of feminist society has gave rise and birth to a lot of creeps on
Yeah,
both men and women.
men and
Like,
women. But women
they
get away with it, like you said, that social life. That's creepy.
Well, that's
And
the thing too, Joe. I was just thinking about this, the projection that women do when they say that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and they get away with it because they're allowed, because we have to give them the pass, the P pass on all them little
But
things,
they're
and
projecting. They're projecting because they're
they're
right.
projecting.
They're really the creepy ones, and they
Yeah,
know it. What their values are so skewed with their lack
right.
of honor and accountability and materialistic, the consumerism and all that, cannibalism, whatever you want to call it.
they eat each other. I mean, like, it's kind of like the old Batman thing. Like, we as MGTOW, we're like the Joker from the Batman series. The only difference is we're the only sane person in the room. It's I mean, the inmates run the asylum, so to
Yeah,
speak.
the inmates have taken over the asylum here. That's the absurdity of everything.
And that's kind of the issue with a lot of these. Some of the people that kind of get it, they want to play Batman and beat up the bad guy and throw him back in Arkham Asylum, or or whatever, and they're just gonna break out eventually. And this is why I can't endorse the Batman ideology anymore. I mean, it's when inmates run the asylum and they run everything else. I mean, you're not punishing a person, you're just sending them home, if anything. It's and that's what they've been doing. I mean, they won't tell you this so much in the news, but in a lot of these big cities, they're releasing people from the prisons and the mental wards and all this stuff because they can't hold them anymore. So they have no room. So
Yeah,
they're just kind of throwing them out there, and that's going to have a negative impact on society years later. And a lot of
right.
these people, they're not thinking about that. So when I hear stuff about change the university, change the laws, even if we had a magic wand to change all of that, it won't matter when the culture has been warped so bad to the point millennial women are very damaged. I mean, one can even argue, like, a lot of people over the age of 30 at this point are very damaged, and the only hope that we have, like, for that future is maybe possibly Gen, possibly Gen Z, but mostly the Alpha Gen or whatever generation that comes after them. They're gonna have to be the one to pull out a map and go, okay, we don't want to deal with this anymore. We don't want to deal with that anymore. And it's not. I'm not saying we can't do it, but
Right.
we're neck deep in the shit.
Right. Yeah. The gender wars are going on now, and I, as long as men keep simping and the MGTOW light keeps being MGTOW light, and the MRAs think they're gonna just magically, women are gonna magically go back to traditionalism. It's like we're not gaining any we're not gaining anything here, and but well, you just keep trying. This may not happen. Hey, you never know. There might be a sudden awakening but I don't know. We're gonna have to keep on plugging at it and make sure that the younger guys are ready to take over.
Yeah, I mean that's all we could really do is just kind of prep it for them. We can't fight every dragon, but we can at least equip and arm them and tell them what they need to do. Because what happened was some of the previous dragons that we put to sleep or sealed or slayed. I mean, we were so close to that, true equality of that true thing. I mean, the 80s and 90s, and I mean, you didn't hear too much. I mean, yeah, there was like racist and a bunch of other stuff that happened, but it was nowhere near as crazy as it is today. And we were just like 95% of the way there, so close to having a true equal society. And then what did they go off and do? They went off and resurrected old enemies that we have long put to rest, and now they don't realize they opened Pandora's box, man. I
Yeah,
mean, I was watching a video to where their whole tear down the statue is crazy. They're just people just want to destroy stuff. They tear down
yeah,
the statue and it's whatever. It's a statue, but they don't even know why they're doing it. I mean, I saw a lot of the old civil rights marchers. They were trying to protect this statue of Frederick Douglass, and I
okay,
didn't know the full gist of it, but I was laughing because one of the guys walked over with his sign. He must have been about maybe 60. Walks over to, this guy and this girl, and he asks them, "Do you even know who that is?" And they say, "Yeah,
that's
that's beacon of white supremacy. Yeah, we're gonna tear down the statue." And he looks at the statue,
Frederick
looks at them.
Douglass.
Yeah, and he's like, "Do you even know who that is?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's Frederick Douglass." And then the guy looks at the statue, looks at them, shakes his head, and just walks away. He's like, just they're free to believe whatever they want to believe at this point.
Right. Just
Don't
let
know
them
what they're
believe what
teaching
they
in the
want to
schools.
believe. Yeah. Yeah, that drives me crazy. A lot of those statues are there to make us remember about our history and everything, and just leave them because they force you to remember your history and everything. They want to tear them all down, and some of these guys they have no idea what the history was. So, God damn it, I dropped it again.
Don't want to break the mouse or anything, but yeah, they have no idea, man. I mean, if a statue is up, if a statue is truly offensive or whatever, then it's something people should take a vote on at the very least, or like petition to have that taken down. But to forcefully
Right.
take stuff down, I mean, it's for better or worse. We shouldn't be trying to bury history, but we also shouldn't be bringing it up like it happened yesterday either.
Right. Right. You can.
It's
We still have the capability of building statues to people we honestly admire.
yeah, history is there to be analyzed and observed so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. But there's I noticed something with the younger generation, man. These kids are so angry, you can almost swear it was 1940 or 1950. That's the way they act. They act
Right.
like time
Well, I
never
seen an
moved forward.
example of that today with the guy that came out. He said some bigoted stuff and he invited people to come to the house, and then they showed up, and then the crowd was all angry and getting worked up and everything, and they were taking the guy to the police cars, and they were throwing things at the cops. And I was like, don't you people know that it's assault when you hit a cop with a beer bottle? See,
And
that guy
that's
doesn't do nothing. They're just trying to get this guy in the car, and you're
and that's the
becoming
thing.
exactly what you hate.
And that's the thing. I mean, like, I've heard all these people say, ban the police, ban the police. Are there a lot of bad police officers? Oh, yeah, most
Yes. Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
But I'm the one shouting, we need a reform. We need a cultural reform.
Cultural reform.
And we need to reform the police. We need to get, corrupt people that shouldn't be in there out
Right.
of there. Because there's no way, because when I try to
Process
talk
of
to someone,
learning, teaching people.
yeah, and actually teaching people. And I tried to talk to someone who was pro-plan the police, and I told him, believe me, I understand your pain in that. I used to
Yeah.
feel the same at one point. And he's like, well, if life would be better, if the police didn't exist. And I told him, well, better for who? And he's like, well, for me and you and everybody else. I was like, well, for me, it wouldn't make much of a difference. Well, maybe better for me because I live far away from everybody. I mean, it'll help my life a little bit, but the thing is, if somebody has made the active choice to live up head dead first in the city, unless you are going to police yourself, which most people don't have the
Right.
skill to do and are clearly not willing to do, you need to have some form of order.
Or
So
yeah, yeah.
cops need to
How
be
we
held
get
accountable.
people. Yeah, and I think it all works back everything works back to MGTOW. The police are the men. Until we can police our own neighborhoods, until the men get the courage enough to police their own neighborhoods, we have to have this other system. But how we can get rid of this system now that we have now is the men start having the courage to police your own neighborhood.
That's the thing. I mean, where I live, most of the old guys will police the neighborhood. I mean, cops will take forever to get here if you do call them.
Yeah, the police only show up after the crime's committed. The only way to deal with crime is to have people there in the neighborhood that can respond immediately. And that's the men. But even that, you have to have decent, MGTOW thinking men that, aren't so self-interested in themselves that are.
I mean,
a lot that need to be changed, but that's the same thing we talked about earlier about sweeping your own side of the street. Become that man that's respected in your neighborhood, where the criminals would never think about coming in your neighborhood because you're there, not the police.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. If we're going to replace something, like we either reform or we replace something.
It with.
Yeah, you gotta have something to replace it with, and a lot of people, they forget that. For me, I'm my own superintendent. I take care of my house. I take care of everything around that. It's kind of like, let's say I hire a gardener, and I don't like the way the gardener mows the lawn, or I caught patches missing, gophers are getting killed on the lawnmower, and it's just very corrupt over there. Fine, I fire the gardener, and I'll just take care of that myself. I don't mind policing my neighborhood. I don't mind taking care of my own lawn or policing my neighborhood. The thing is, I just acknowledge most men are not willing to do that.
Willing to do that. It used to drive me nuts with when everybody was complaining about the Obamacare and everything. Obamacare, this, and I said, "Do you have something better to replace it with?"
Yeah,
you can figure that out. This is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I'm open to the freaking suggestions. I mean, people want
suggestions, but man, you gotta. And the other side of that was just complaints. Everybody can complain about something, but do you have something better?
That's the ironic part, man. I see some of these same people. Some of these same people are run down houses or trailer parks or something. They'll complain about the very damn thing that they utilize. Oh, I hate Obamacare. The moment something happens, they're on it. Yet they're the ones using it and everything like that. I laughed about that shit. I mean, it may not be the best thing, but hell, it works until something better comes along. Because my whole thing is, if somebody's working 40 plus hours a week, it is our job to take care of our environment, our houses, families, or whatever. But it's also the government's job to, we're not surgeons. Not all of us are surgeons. Not all of us are doctors or anything. So yes, it is their job to pay for that. Because if we're working, the act of us working and doing that is contributing to our society. But our government's also supposed to take care of us like that way too. I can't perform a surgery on myself, and not everybody has 100K to be busting out for special medical problems and stuff. So yeah, it does help.
Yeah,
I mean,
it starts with the individuals. Everybody has to do their individual part. I seen a person pull up to a green rally in a car. I was on my bike, and then I saw him talking and everything, and I was like, "Didn't you just pull up in a car?"
Yeah, like what the heck, and that's the thing. I mean, people just aren't realistic anymore about a lot of things. They and then they make dumb comments like Carly's down there. I mean, like,
don't pay attention to Carly, or pay attention to her. I don't. That's her job. That's what she does.
Yeah, I'm just kind of used to them doing it now. It's just they don't. They get to have their fun and everything, but it'll catch up to them eventually. It's just women, this kind of meritocracy. I mean, whatever name they want to freaking give it ain't working. When women, this our whole society the way it is a result of women being in charge. If anything, patriarchy didn't get this. And
the myth of male power is a lie. It's always been female power, and the reason men do horrible things most of the time is for the female. It's like slavery. It's like, do you know a 30-year-old guy that owns a piece of property that can't till his own property? No, they did that for the females, for for validation, social validation, and that stuff, and to alleviate the female that had 30 house slaves, and say that wasn't, that didn't happen. No, most of slavery was from men trying to impress females, and it's
Yep.
a male can do his own work. It's like, who can't do the work? Well,
Women,
doesn't it make sense now? Who couldn't do the work?
women couldn't bear the load, and so
You couldn't
that's
bear the
why.
load.
And this is why, I mean, women, that whole Feather Brigade, Elizabeth Cady Saxon, all them women shot themselves in the foot. And what's even funnier about this is to the men that co-sign feminism and all this stuff. I mean, to the
Right. The
the
White
ass.
Feather thing was total hypocrisy.
Yeah,
Calling these guys what the names and everything, and trying to shame them into the war movement, when the only people that couldn't participate in the war movement was a woman.
and that was the thing. I mean, honestly, I blame the ass Nathaniels of the world and all these other guys, because weak men like that are the reason why we have what we have. They co-sign this stuff, and now they want to cry foul. I mean, they kind of agree with us,
Right.
but they don't want to fully agree with us because they'll have to admit that we were right about something. And these
Yeah,
guys, they
that's the
talk
same thing.
about.
But
I'm sorry. I was gonna say and every time I see one of these PUAs or any of these guys talking about masculinity, I laugh, because if you were to compare them to a dude born in 1940s, 50s,
yeah,
they can't measure up.
they can't.
That's the thing. We weigh, like,
Yeah.
the average person weighs more
Oh,
than we probably should
masculinity.
weigh.
The whole masculinity thing is the biggest shaming tactic there is. You guys just need to be more masculine. It's like that's the biggest shaming tactic there is. And PUAs and MRAs push that like it's fucking candy, and it's the
But
biggest lie there is.
but that's the thing, though. They don't even, like, factually speaking, they can't even measure up, and this
Right.
is why they love the way things are. I mean, a lot of the I don't know what people call them nowadays, beta simps or beta cucks. A lot of these guys, they act like they hate it and they act like they're against it, but in actuality, they love it more than
They love
anyone,
it. Yeah.
because they don't have to compete. I mean,
Right.
if you're stronger or smarter or whatever than some other guy, why would he come at you head on? He'll just, like, make fun of you or shame you in front of a woman. Oh, see, I'm better than him. Pick me, pick me. Why
Yeah. Pick me. Pick me.
he doesn't want to gauge in any kind of physical or intellectual competition with you, because he doesn't. One, he was never taught how. Two, they don't know how, and they don't know how, they have no honor or any kind of integrity, so they
Right.
don't know how to
He's
fight
just saying,
fair and
I'm the
square.
best slave.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. They're
Yeah, I'm
begging to.
they're begging to be in that position. It's like my fatherhood analogy and that shit and everything. It's such hypocrisy. It's the truth of the matter is I don't have babies. I can't. I'm a male.
And
Like,
it's funny when you
and they're
tell these.
telling you to be responsible as they're being irresponsible. You were
Exactly.
irresponsible for your body. I can't have babies. You were the one that opened up your legs. You were the one that took the agency to have a baby. And now I'm irresponsible? No, you were.
And this is why I compare those guys to women, or possibly even worse to women, because they're in the same position as women are. These same guys say, oh, black was effeminate or whoever's effeminate, they don't know how to build. They don't know how to maintain their own car.
Right.
Because one of the primary functions of just being a man is we build. And I don't mean necessarily like building cars or houses. We create, we shift our
Right.
environment, we paint, we learn things, because we don't have children. That's how we give ourselves a sense of permanency, or attempt to. And
Yeah.
these guys do none of these things, and they believe themselves to be masculine
Yeah.
because a woman told them so, because we have no right of. They destroy rite of passage, and this is why these men act this way. They scream, get loud, and they put on the falsehood of masculinity, which is why
Falsehood of masculinity. It's the biggest lie there is.
and
It's just shaming you into being what somebody else wants you to be.
and even if they win the fight, it doesn't get them what they want. Oh, I beat a black wolf. I'm the ultimate slave. I mean, like, Jesus Christ. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah,
but
you're
that's
the
the
best
mentality.
slave, oh boy. It's
I
like,
mean, even
man.
even the prize, like even the prize is shitty, and then that's what they
Everything
do.
about that's a bad deal. But that's what they're begging for their fatherhood so they can be slaves. No, good idea. And that's what the MRA. We'll just fight to be fathers. We'll fight to get our kids and everything. No, that's not your kids.
And,
That's my
and that's the thing.
point.
And that's the
You
thing. They
can't have
can't
a kid. You're just begging for your slavery, idiot.
That's the thing. They can't let go. They've romanticized the past, or
Yeah,
rather, an ideal that
that's
they
the
cannot live
romanticism.
up to.
Yeah, that's what Camus was talking about. Why romanticism is so fucked up.
And it really is. I mean, like
They're-
there's guys I know. I mean, I've farmed for a while, but like when a guy like me is saying that they can't live up to it, that's a damn fact. I'm stating the fact at that point. I probably, even all the work I do, I don't think I worked harder than my ancestors. I don't think I can't say that I worked harder than my great grandfather because times were harder for them. I'm proud of what I accomplished. But these guys want to pat themselves on the back just because they managed to shame somebody, and they don't. They just don't measure up. And instead of trying to recreate, bring back rite of passage, trying to recreate something
right.
that we could actually utilize for the future, they sit on their hands like women, and they want us to do it. They want
They
other
want
men to
somebody
do
else
it.
to do it.
And,
Yeah, that's what the shaming's about. They want
and
somebody
so
else to.
and so these guys are on
They
the level of women
become
because
emasculated. In their masculinity, they've become emasculated. I've seen a bunch of gamers sitting around talking about masculinity. It's like, oh, they're going to be programmers and everything, and they're like, which one of you guys have ever welded a fucking structural beam?
yeah, they can't tell you, man. That's the thing about it. They ride on our coattails, and it goes back to the old saying: "Strong men create good times, weak men create bad times," and that's what happened. I mean, if
Yeah,
a person can sweat in good times, they won't break a sweat in a war.
right.
You know, that's kind of the thing. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying I'm wishing for one. I'm just saying people always need to be prepared, but they stop teaching the children. The children just become lax, and then they grow up have other children who become even lazier, and that's the problem. We're living in a decaying, like not just intellectually. I mean, we live in a spiritually decaying society, or more of a it's just it's a pillar that's going to ultimately fall. And my whole thing is when the building comes tumbling down, I just hope enough of them, have their hard hat or their
yeah.
shield up, because from where I stand, a lot of them aren't going to make it. And
No,
so,
yeah. When this whole baby mama thing works out and everything, the only thing a woman could teach their male children is how to think like them, and that's to get somebody else to do the work. And that's what we have nowadays. The men are thinking like the women. They're trying to get somebody else to do it for them.
and that's why I get mad. I mean, I don't mind a dude not liking me. It's when a dude tries to play emotional warfare with me, or mental minesweeper. And men know, like, these guys know that they're doing this. That's why I don't feel sorry when they get hurt, because some people really do need to be punched in the face. If you go throughout your whole life never getting punched, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
Curly says welding is not difficult. Yeah. That's what
gotcha.
somebody that never welded would say.
Yeah, and then making glasses and difficulties are either Carly. Sometimes I just, go and take a dump, and then boom, automatic glass candle. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, though. I mean, people get so used to the modern conveniences, like, and don't get me wrong, I like ordering stuff on Amazon, books and tools and stuff like that, but I don't forget the skills that I learned up until that point. But when you live in a society with, such convenience, even the slightest level of inconvenience now feels like oppression. So we're not guilty of oppressing women. We're guilty of giving them a life that
Yeah,
was
guilty of
far
too
beyond their
much.
means.
Yeah.
We yeah, we gave them too much.
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking about shutting this thing down because I'm starting to get tired and it's getting hot in here.
All right, bro. I'd like to thank you for having me on, and it's always Pleasure,
Yeah,
coming
it's
on here
always great
talking
talking
this.
to you. Yeah, we talked about a lot of great stuff today, and just keep it up and keep our MGTOW up. Don't let it roll off our backs. And we're going to take a lot of abuse, and but we're not wrong. uh,
Yeah,
I've been saying anybody that wants to come and talk to me about me being wrong, I do these things all the time. I'll put it in the for how many years now, and ain't no one ever showed up.
yeah, that's what gets me, man. I leave it out there. If anybody want to hop on and disagree with me, I mean, we're open to good ideas. And yeah, Carly, you're right. I'm decaying. We all are. We all have a short amount of time in this world, and what you do with it is what you do with it. And that's the moral of everything. I mean, value your time, value what you do. I mean, it's I'm flattered. There's people like that spend their time doing that. I mean, it's a sense of flattery because that's the value of the time. So if anything, I guess what I'm saying is I learned to just value my time overall.
Yeah, that's about it. Right. Work on yourselves. Work on being right, and that's what MGTOWs do. We're not going to be the most popular people because most of the time we are. I had a guy come to me today and say something. What was it? I says an anti-vaxxer. He was like, didn't believe he was killing people, and I said, there's laws in our society that if you intentionally spread a communicable disease, it carries a 6 months jail term, and because at this point, if you don't know to go out and get that shot, you're an idiot and you're just spreading it. And he says, California, he says in California they made it legal to give AIDS now. And then I was like, what are you fucking stupid? It's always some stupid comment like that. HB 32426 says it's intentionally, if you intentionally spread a communicable disease, you can go to jail. And that's the right decision. And it's like, but they pull out bullshit out of their ass, and there's these intentional lies that they give, and it's just garbage. MGTOW's got to stay on point and learn their craft, and that's all we can do. And point out when somebody's wrong. And you know what? When you point out that somebody's wrong, they're going to hate you. So today I made another MGTOW enemy because I pointed out that he was an idiot. And but that's life, and that's what we have to deal with in here.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes
true.
got to be strong enough as a MGTOW to say the truth.
That's why we have to do like a little light policing every now and then, because there's some people believe that if they chant a lie long enough, it'll make it
Right.
true or something like that.
If you say a lie long enough, people start to believe you. And that's what happened with Christianity. That's what happened. That's why our society is in such disrepair now, because people are afraid to tell the truth. And I know the truth is hard, but the truth is the truth. And with that, I'm going to
Amen.
shut this down. You got anything to say, Joey? I think I can hear Joey snoring.
I guess he knocked out. I'll say it for Joey. Live peace and well and prosper and everything. But yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, you both are great guys. I learned a lot from the both of you, and so I wanted to thank you for that, and thank everyone that showed up in the comment section, and even to the people, whether they like us or don't like us, there are thousands upon thousands of MGTOW. It's impossible for you to not find something you vibe with or something you can, learn. So don't say you've watched a bunch of MGTOW content and didn't learn anything. To me, that's impossible.
That's impossible. Yeah. Yeah, it's just cognitive bias, and they do the biases and bulk back to their traditionalism. And that's it. It's easy for them to, rather than accepting the truth. And with that, I think I'm going to shut this thing down. I want to thank everybody for coming around, Jigsaw and Brissy and Carly and Troy, and we've seen a few new faces in here today. I hope you keep coming around and keep doing your MGTOW and keep learning. And if you're going to do it, it's worth doing it right. And if you're going to do MGTOW, do it all the way, because half measures avail us nothing. And with that, thanks for all these guys coming around, and thanks for being MGTOW. MGTOW.